Now's the time.
Getting ready? Yeah,
we're getting into it.
The countdown has begun. We got 7 seconds left, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is, the first game of the quarterfinals. NIP and Navi in a best-of-3, starting on Inferno with NIP on the terrorist side and Navi on the counter-terrorist side. So I hope you guys are ready to make a little bit of noise, because this is going to be a very, very important pistol round. Might set the tone for this entire match. Flamey at top banana, and C's actually already falling back, as they do sense that no one will see really rushing the B bomb side. They want to make sure that they've got the coverage over at A, which right now they don't. 3 people and 5 from NIP rushing in. They're going to go for it, but Edward, nice shutdown, dropping, get right. Forrest gets 1 in return, but Guardian's still alive inside. He's going to get the 1 kill. Zeus goes down. Guardian looking for a shot. Threat is dropped, and now Freiburg, he's isolated in the pit in a 1-on-3. They just have to not challenge him, and they'll be fine.
Yep, now it's all pretty much wrapped up for Navi, although C's does get dropped low. He's down to 6 HP. Headshot comes in from Freiburg, and now this is possible with that P2K. If he hits the headshot on Flamey as well, C's is so very low. There's not a whole lot going on, but Flamey, he's going to catch Freiburg, trying to find the angle, and that will be the pistol round going Navi's way on the CT side of Inferno. So exactly the start that Navi we're looking for here.
I mean, that was not a bad call for NIP. You rush a bomb site with 3 people in, you should be able to trade effectively, so that the only 2 people left really are the 2 in Beetle. At least you should have a 2-on-2, right? That just didn't work out. So, second round coming up, and NIP without a bomb plant, they're gonna go for Tech 9s mostly. Some grenades here, 2 smokes as well. Could definitely be a setup eventually for a sort of B execute. You know, those 2 smokes helping out, smoking off coil, smoking off towards CT spawn, giving you a bit of an opening.
I love that Guardian, he goes for the buy, but in case you guys saw the money, he's sitting on $1,000 still. So he goes for a little bit of a buy, but he's still prioritizing the AWP to really wreck Nip when he gets into the 4th round, because he is perfectly capable of bringing the sniper rifle to bear on this map. Boom, that base in this, whoa, the Tech 9 base in here is crazy.
Oh, turn it up. Turn it up. I like that. I can't wait for an AWP to be picked up now.
Right? Come on, Guardian, keep going.
It's going to be exciting. Well, the bomb is all the way back towards the T slope outside of the apartment. So really, NIP just desperately wish that someone from Navi would make some sort of mistake. That would definitely help out. You know, anyone sort of peeking aggressively, you could tell right now.
That poor chicken.
That poor chicken. Well, you
can tell right now,
you can tell right now that they're really very, very defensive on the Navi side, right? They're not giving up any edge here to NIP. No one's going to get caught off guard, it seems.
And right about now is when Navi are going to start peeking around. We see Zeus work his way up onto short. Guardian, he peeks at Arch, doesn't see anything, and he's starting to cheat his way over towards that B site. And NIP, they're all gathered here. The incendiary is ready to go as well. 35 seconds left, and he gets chucked down. And this is all on C's now with that MP9. Holds up close, and he's going to barely be able to spray down Threat. It's all about the anti-flashes, and Nip can't achieve anything in this round. They just get completely slapped down.
I mean, a minor detail, really, but it's kind of cool that they're throwing the Molotov that far up, because what a lot of teams will do is they'll have the guy throwing the Molotov is also the guy peeking, so he tends to sort of throw it down almost as they're running over it, so it really has no impact. That Molotov was definitely very annoying for NIP. I'm wondering if they shouldn't just continue to try and run in towards CT spawn at that point in time, just forget about that V-bomb site, but no chance really. And I think the counter flashes coming out were also quite good for Navi. So 3rd round coming up, and not a lot of upgrading going on the Navi side. They're gonna keep it cool right now, and you can see Guardian now 4,500. He's gonna have so much money for the upcoming AWP buy.
Exactly, with all 5 players surviving the last round, that's huge for Navi and their bank. Basically, you know, the nightmare start here for NIP. The last thing they want is Navi having a strong economy going into this CT side. And Guardian takes the peek, picks up 1, but Forrest is there to trade. Zeus gets overwhelmed, but it's just turning into a blender in mid. And Edward, he's going to cap it all off with a beautiful headshot. It's all on Forrest now. He's got the UMP in a 1v3, but he's not going to find the spray down.
He got the last kill on Seized actually in the background, which is important. That's 2 kills, 1 of them with the UMP. That's 5,000 for Forrest. That's going to give him another, you know, a Molotov somewhere. Could definitely help out a bit. And there's that AWP being picked up by Guardian. So let's see if that is indeed going to have an impact here. 4th round coming up, and this is one of the critical ones. If you are on the CT side of Inferno and you win the pistol and the 4th round, that's when you start to feel really, really safe and good. See, AKs all around for the NIP team. Forrest with just a single Molotov here. And that could set up a bit of like, Get Right actually has one as well. And it allows them to check some corners, including the one that Flamey's in. So First one's going to be used to check apartments. Get Right actually just running right past, so Maybe a little bit scary there. A little bit of miscommunication, perhaps.
Oh, wow. Definitely a little bit of miscommunication there. They're just peeking together, getting a little antsy, but they know how much is riding on this round. It is so important for NIP to pick up their first rifle round and stop Na'Vi short here. They cannot allow Na'Vi to develop further than this. They need to slow down that CT economy as well. So Nip, I mean, just now that smoke is starting to clear up at bottom. Banana Guardian has still not been challenged. He goes so far as to actually full peek all the way down into bottom mid. He's going to say, nobody's here in Banana, guys. So definitely keep the 4 on A that Na'Vi have established so far. And with a minute left on this clock, there's plenty of Nip. I mean, there's plenty of time here for Nip to maneuver.
This is just a very, very, very scary situation right now for the Nip team, as they might be pushing into a bit of a crossfire there. There's Guardian getting a tag in on threat, which is definitely a good start.
I love that he goes for the wallbang as well. That's some map knowledge right there. With the AWP, if somebody was trying to hide behind the pillars with the man that he had legged, was trying to hide behind the pillars, that could have been brutal. But now it's going to be all on Nip here as they try and push onto this A site. 4 players are still here for Na'Vi. Their read is impeccable, and the shots are too. Edward, Zeus picking up the first 2 kills, and as they come out of apartments, they get completely slammed. Get right in Freiburg are the last 2, and they somehow bring it back, only to have the rotation come through for Na'Vi. And everything falls short for the Ninjas in the end. 4-0, and the economy is still going to be pretty decent here for Na'Vi.
Well, 5th round coming up, and again, Na'Vi cementing this CT side. And here's where the trouble really begins, because Na'Vi in the first sort of 3 rounds, the challenge they have is they'll definitely have the smokes, they'll have the armor and the rifles, but they won't have too many Molotovs, right? As they start to go later into this game and they start to sort of build more of an economy, they can keep buying reliably Molotovs as well, and that's gonna whittle so much time off the clock for NIP. It'll be very hard for them to actually get into a bomb site. Even with the increased time, you've got to eventually make up your mind. And Na'Vi, they've never been superstars at saving grenades on this map, but they are improving. I'm noticing every once in a while. So things are gonna get rough for NIP.
And we're seeing the versatility, rather, in the Na'Vi defense here. As they just, I mean, they're rotating Guardian all over the place. He's on B the last round. Now he's over on A, going for that peek in mid just to get some information, just to keep Nip guessing. He can't allow them to figure out his pattern. So long as he keeps bouncing around on the map, Nip are going to have an issue. And, well, Edward just holds his own in. Hit 2, 3. Could he get 4? He might be able to. He's looking for the headshot. He's going to get it. Get Right is down. Quad kill for Edward. And 4 players survive for Na'Vi. So as far as Nip are concerned, that is not good enough in a round that they still invested a little bit of money in.
Right, and you mentioned the versatility. Edward's also being a little bit annoying over by that apartments exit, because he keeps either holding a sort of quad. This time he's in pit. He's got to notice if he ends up inside the A bomb site as well. It's going to be hard for Nip to guess exactly where he is. I would love to see them go for like a classic execute though, where they sort of smoke off pit, try and see if they can wrap around quad and into the A bomb site. Like, I don't want to see NIP sort of throw anything too drastic out there right now, but maybe some apartments and quad play there. I think that could be a strong focus here. But now we have switched up even further and actually put Guardian on this side of the map, so they don't even necessarily know where the sniper is going to be at this point in time.
Yeah, he's changed it. 3rd option in the books. And they've been very consistent with taking control of apartments, NIP, so it makes sense for Guardian to be up here waiting for somebody to join him. But it's going to be the flash through mid, and they are going to take the fight straight to Edward, who's actually crouched in the corner. Zeus is going to draw attention to himself, and it's Edward just slaughtering them. 30 kills, well, 33 kills for him. And then Guardian missing the shot on to Get Right, but he gets the follow-up. Forrest doing the best that he can, but he's in a 1v4, and Guardian not going to let him get out in one piece.
Well, all right then.
They go for the Fnatic flash. I mean, they are trying to make it happen, NIP, you know, trying to change up the timings. That smoke is up, doesn't matter. They try and flash their way through, just no fear, jump in, try and catch somebody out from Na'Vi. But that positioning from Zeus and Edward just completely shut them down.
You would have liked to have seen a similar strat executed, but where they check that corner with the Molotov, right? Just because that's also a common play right now. NIP, they've lost 6 rounds in a row. That means they have a pretty good round loss bonus, about 3,400 per round loss, plus whatever they have in the bank. So they could buy quite a lot here, and this time they're going a bit more aggressive at top Banana, and actually you might be catching Zeus in the corner here, going for a bit of an early fight. Zeus going to win the first time. Freiburg, he sprays down 1, and now they've got Zeus. They should be able to kill him. He's trapped in that corner, and Exist will follow up, but then comes Flamey and Edward charging down the middle. What a chaotic round here. Grenade a follow-up, and Exist, he doesn't actually get tagged by it. Flamey taking the fight, almost hitting the shot. The Molotov follow-up. Exist, he can't get out of this corner. And where his backup Forest is miles away. Now it's a 1v2 with all the minute left, and the bomb is still near T-spawn. This is not a normal round on Inferno.
Guardian is ruthless, man. He just ran through Flamey's Molotov to get that kill as well. No chance at all for Exist blocked behind the car. But Forrest, he's going to have a barbecue. And he's not going to allow Flamey to get out. There we go. 1v1 now between two legends. And there's so much time left on this clock as well. 50 seconds for Forrest to make up his mind as to where he wants to take this. Guardian, he's actually taken a risk. He's pushed all the way through Banana, and now he's going to get into mid. He might be in position here to catch Forrest if Forrest lags behind, and there it is.
Oh, that's a shot he needs to hit. That was a big opening, and the fact is, Na'Vi have an incredible amount of money right now. They simply have to win this round in IP. Otherwise, I'm not sure if they can even realistically force an eco for sort of the rest of this half. It's going to be so hard anyway. He does manage to get past the middle. Guardian is up there, so if he shows himself, that could be scary. But now he's got a clear run into the bomb site. Forrest, he has a smoke as well. He's going to use it for CT spawn, so that means he can't use it later on, obviously. And he picked up a Molotov along the way. That could be huge. Guardian is quite far away, even with the increased bomb time here. He's going to have some distance. It's about good 17 seconds or something like that for him to run here. This is going to be a bit scary. He's not going to check any corners. That might actually cut down the time some. And we'll see if he can make it. Grenade in once, and Forrest in construction, ready and waiting. He's got the one kill. He needs another one. He's sneaking up behind. Guardian, no clue. And Forrest comes in with a spray. And that's going to be NIP winning their first round here. A good clutch and a classic little wink from Forrest.
Yeah, that's the huge kind of win. They can actually turn everything around here for NIP. They need those kinds of clutch rounds to go their way because that's going to give confidence to the rest of the team. That can get them fired up. And right now, Threat kind of needs it. He's 1, 2, and 7. Only 2 kills picked up for Exist. I mean, they're all low single digits, and that's just not good enough. So, Forrest, this might be the moment that changes everything here for NIP. As you pointed out, Navi's economy just so strong. They could full buy and full buy again behind it. So, it's not going to be any easy. There aren't going to be any easy rounds here for NIP anytime soon. But look at this. Forrest, he decides to change it up, go for the AWP. Zeus caught out by Get Right, loses the duel. That can't happen, but Flamey's there to remove Threat from top Banana. Threat kind of sacking himself just to see if he can actually get anything going up there, but nobody was in position to back him up, it looks like. So we just returned to a 4-on-4 at this point.
It's a bit of a shame that they lost Threat right afterwards, because that opening kill definitely could help them out. You can see now we are trying to keep Nip on edge, just making sure that if they want map control, they have to check all the corners. They may even have to use a lot of grenades for it. Oh, Exist actually getting that shot up on the wood stack there, just looking over. And we were watching Forrest, and it looked like he had the dead angle as well. Now we have a really tough choice to make. Do they want to? They're going for the 1-2 stack here, and oh, Edward going to get the refrag, so that helps them out so much.
But there's a smoke. Finally, Flamey, he just decides, need to put this down, need to start slowing things down, because if they get that kill on the one side, Nip might have tried to just, you know, pounce on that B site, get in there quickly. Now with this smoke down, it allows for NIP to get up to top Banana very safely, and now they're just going to be able to get that CT smoke down and just go rushing through. Forrest is the only one with any utility here, so we'll see if he actually elects to put that flash in. But the rotation, this is taking so long now that Na'Vi, as soon as this push comes through, we already see him in position. Edward, he's got that flash to put into pit, and that could slow everything down here for NIP.
This is going to be enough, though. Flash comes through. Flamey from inside the bomb site, the one to hit that shot. They're trying to rotate back, but there is a big problem here. And that's Guardian still on the site, and he has been such a terror so far. Look at the clock as well. 8 seconds. They need to get in here. Freiburg has no idea. Guardian is right there. He's looking the wrong way. He's going to go down. I don't know if the bomb is in time right now. NIP, they're going to get it in the last second. And that's going to be Flamey now trying to retake 1-on-2. This could not have got any closer. Guardian had no clue they're walking up behind there. And Flamey in a very tough 1-on-2. He's got 30 health. He's going to try and make a run for it. Instead, he wants to save the rifle here. NIP, 2 in a row. And the money, well, actually, Zeus has got $0. So Flamey's going to be dropping this rifle for Zeus. Now we can still make a buy. NIP, they need that 3rd round. 3 in a row, and then they will be able to finally force Na'Vi to eco.
And then they actually get the ball rolling for themselves. I'm really surprised that Guardian, he wasn't hearing the footsteps. Perhaps couldn't count how many people were actually coming up behind him. He hears footsteps arch, so he's probably thinking, okay, I stick on short, that guy's going to slow down behind me. But no, at that point, NIP, they realize they just don't have the time to go for any subtlety. Guardian outplayed himself a little bit, I think. So unfortunate turn of events there for him. He might just be feeling a little frustrated. But he's got 8 kills so far, so I mean, he is hitting his shots, Guardian. This is just going to be brushed off, and now they can move into the next round, the 9th round here in the first half, where Na'Vi, they still sit on 6 rounds.
I mean, our analysts, before we got into the game, were pointing out Na'Vi isn't really a team that choke and sort of crumble under the pressure. So even with Nip winning 2 rounds in a row, I think you're right. It's not going to be like any kind of problems early on here for the Na'Vi team.
Oh, this is how they're changing it up. One thing that's nice to see here from Na'Vi is that every time, each of these rounds, they're going for a different CT setup. This time around, Zeus has been boosted, so that's going to change things up a little bit here. Means that if NIP try and go for that Fnatic flash through the smoke, trying to take control of top T, they can get shot from 2 different angles.
And Edward, we were pointing this out just a little while ago, the variance in the setup over here. This time we got 3 people towards quad side and Guardian to get the first, because they don't even know that Edward is still up here, so this is going to make things really tough. 2 boosts over by quad. Guardian taking a second shot. Forest, I mean, both Forest and Get right with a lot of confidence to peek that corner, but just not quick enough to catch up with Guardian, it seems. And now the rest. When you're a man or 2 down, B is definitely the more attractive bomb site. Exist, trying to see if he could find an angle, maybe looking over into the wood stacks there. Not giving a target just yet. Threat actually picks up a kill on Guardian there, and Exist, are they going to check the corner? Flame is right there and almost winning the fight is Exist, but it's not going to be quite close enough. And Freiburg and Threat, this would be a miracle round if they could bring it back in a 2-on-4 with just 35 seconds left.
Yeah, and the flash is already set up here by Flamey, so as soon as Seas peeks out, it might not be that effective. Freiburg might have gotten past it now. Threat coming in, however, he's going to get spotted. There's the flash going out. Freiburg turns away. Now he knows where Flamey is, and he hits the headshot. Could get the second as well, but seized. He holds the line at coils, and it's all on Threat now. 1v3. 18 seconds left, and he's just trying to get the plant. He's hoping that Molotov will hold him at bay, but it's not going to do it in the end. And Seized will get control of the situation. 7-2 for Na'Vi, and the run there that was starting to develop, well, Nip, they stumble, they tripped.
Now, I mean, I appreciate the Threat trying to get the bomb. I think that makes the most sense. But
sure, he wants that bonus money.
It wouldn't have been the difference between them buying or not. Just to say that the sort of the lack of money here wouldn't have decided anything. It would just have helped them out a little bit. Maybe someone would have bought a deagle somewhere. 7-2 being the current scoreline, and we do have what seems like a timeout, and it could well be a tactical timeout here for NIP.
It is.
Just to put some perspective on what the sort of the balance is on this map, if you're a new viewer and you're wondering, is NIP about to lose the whole game? Probably not. It's 7-2 right now, and that is a good lead for Na'Vi. If NIP could force an eco within the sort of the next couple of, obviously they're going to be ecoing themselves here, so that'll make life tough, but it's still possible. I think if NIP can get up to 5 rounds on this first half, we still have an interesting game on our hands.
Yes.
If they can get 6, I think then they're going to be celebrating. But right now, that would be a stretch, wouldn't it? That would be hard for them to reach.
It would be a huge victory for them to get there because
yeah.
They didn't get the pistol, they didn't get the strong start that they were hoping for. It's all uphill for them. And now what's worse is that they were so close to forcing Na'Vi to eco. Had they managed to win that round, it would have put Na'Vi onto some kind of quasi-buy with a couple of pistols. Instead, now Nip, they've given Na'Vi the chance to reestablish their economy and keep having all the nades necessary to shut them out of these bomb sites to make life very difficult for Nip. Because that's what it's all about on Inferno. On this map in particular, you have a lot of choke points that the terrorists, they have to go through to get to the bomb sites. And so the incendiary nades that the CT side have and the smokes, they just block those off so neatly. If Na'Vi have all of the money to just keep buying these round after round after round, Nip, they're just never going to have all of the time necessary to really set their strats up. That's why they go for the risky plays like flashing through the smoke. Unfortunately, the last time they tried to do that on A, they got shut down completely by Edward. But it seems like they're going to have to keep going for that. They're going to have to keep taking risks to try and break Na'Vi open here.
I mean, right now they need to win some battles. They need to win some of these entries. They were doing a pretty good job over at B. That worked out well. If they could do that at the beginning of round before Forest and Get Right go down, because obviously they themselves were fighting and challenging over by quad in the beginning of that round. But if they just could entry on B the way they did this round at the end of it, that's fine. They probably win the round. So yeah, maybe they should go back to that and think, all right, if we can get entry frags on B, then let's keep going there, because A does not seem to be working out right now.
No, the struggle, and well, I'm just curious to see. Oh, Guardian is coming back to A. I was wondering if he was going to change things up and head over towards the B side. He might do that in the next round. Perhaps sensing that, Nip, they might try and go for that B play. But Na'Vi have been doing a very good job of delaying the B take coming in from NIP as well. That banana control, Na'Vi have kept pretty good control of it so far. They get the aggressive smoke down at the bottom of it again this round, and they've got both rifles there as well. But Na'Vi have to have an idea of the NIP economy right now. They have to know that they're dealing with an anti-eco, which is why Guardian, he even has the M4. He's just like, okay, no off in this position. I'm actually going to get that incendiary down, go for the peek behind you, and completely wreck your day. More kills? Nope, I guess overhype. Oops.
I mean, he did a lot of damage there, and the Molotov certainly forcing him to run the other way. They're still being just completely ground out here. No chance to escape. They made it into CT spawn, which, if they had rifles and everything else, that would be beautiful. But That's not going to be the case. Now we're looking at an 8-2 scoreline here, and the NIP, I think they have to win this round. Otherwise, Na'Vi, again, they build up too much of an economy. They're never going to be forced to eco, and it's just going to be all ugly from here. So let's see if they finally decide to head for that B-bomb side at the beginning of the round and look for some fights. I mean, they had Zeus isolated that one round by the sandbags as well. If they can get into situations like that, it's definitely a good idea. Na'Vi might be thinking the same thing, because they got 3 men stacked over there right now, all of them ready to try and deal with anything. NIP already setting up for a sort of slow approach as they got the bomb way far back.
Yeah, again, with that aggressive smoke, and the problem is that with that smoke going down, it's always that guessing game for NIP. Are they putting 3 behind there? 1, 2, they never really know, and so it's a huge risk to go through it. You could be just staring down the barrels of 2 extra M4s. So NIP, instead, they're going through the motions at this point. You know, they're just saying, okay, well, that smoke goes down. We're going to wait it out. Eventually, you know, with this extra 10 seconds in the round, eventually the smoke will clear. So let's take advantage of that, get control of the rest of the map, then we'll come back to Banana later. And they haven't really seen anybody, it looks like, over here for NIP. And Guardian's still on the M4 as well. So at least they don't have to worry about that threat.
Yeah, they're not going to be running into the AWP right now, but Guardian is just a lethal player no matter what. That's the problem with him. He's just going to continue anyway. Trying to see if they can make that entry work. They spot one guy now. Guardian being isolated behind the pillar there, but he gets a kill anyway on Forrest, and the rest of the team, they can't follow it up because that smoke being in the middle of it, they would have to find inside the smoke or sort of at the edge of it. That just doesn't work out. And somehow Guardian gets to live with 19 health. That probably shouldn't have happened. Yeah, that really shouldn't have happened, actually. Probably the perfect flash. I mean, there was a good flash to come out and, you know, get Guardian out of dodge. Zeus just straight up manhandles Get Right. And now you have 3 players left here for NIP, and they're just going to have to commit fully to this B site. There's no other option. And all Na'Vi have to do, they're just baiting them in. Sees with the crossfire, he's going to be up on spools, and then Flamey behind new boxes. There aren't a whole lot of options here from NIP. They just have to run forward and get the headshots. Flamey takes out Threat, but Freiberg removes him. 8 seconds left. Can he get to the bomb in time? Yes, he can, but it's a 1v3. And now Na'Vi, they don't even need to rush things. They choose to go for it, but they could have played it safe as well and just, you know, run him down. Freiberg with a good triple kill in that round. And again, I have to just sort of reiterate, B-bomb side just seems to be much better for them right now. They keep losing a couple of members before they try it, and that means by the time they get it, it is too late. I mean, now we have 2 members there. If they tried to push that earlier on, they would have had Flamey alone up there. So, I mean, yeah, that smoke at bottom Banana, it certainly makes it tricky to push. It doesn't make it impossible, you know. It's true, it's true. You're just having to go for that gamble. You're just saying, okay, you know, we're going to go through this. And the problem is what we just saw at mid, right? If something goes wrong, it seems, Nip are falling into old patterns of just not committing to the push. That's a real issue. But this time around, sometimes you see this with teams as well. When they have pistols, they have a little bit less fear in them. They just decide, actually, you know, the plan is run. So we do it because we have pistols. We have nothing to lose. And they're just taking the fight straight up in mid. Freiberg, he hits the headshot on Guardian. He gets the Hondig in action. And Edward is quite low. If he had gone down, that would have been a straight line into the A-bomb site. Obviously, we could tell NIP, they don't quite know that. And Edward running actually for the smoke. That's a bit dangerous. He was making a lot of footsteps then, and he only has 15 health. Now it's Seized taking this position instead, and he is much more equipped to take care of business here. It's going to be Freiberg and Forrest left. And I mean, in spite of some really good damage being done, I don't think it's going to be enough in a round like this. They need to be careful, Na'Vi, not to fall into that trap where they get overconfident, where everything is going their way. It's just like Edward standing out there. Even a deagle will rip your head off, right? So you need to be you still need to be careful, even against an eco in CSGO. And so for Edward to just stand out there and be like brazzing about it, and I'm just going to take this fight. Those kinds of risks can come back to bite Na'Vi. Those are the kinds of things that can actually allow Nip a window to get back into this game. So they need to keep cool and keep control of their mindset here, Na'Vi, and not throw away this chance to just completely crush Nip out of this first half. God, it'd be good for NIP right now if they could get 1 more kill. If you look at the Na'Vi economy after the round, it'd be quite important. If they've got 2 members that are low, if Nip can get a 3rd kill here, then there is still a chance to shut Na'Vi out of the economic game, but they do need a 3rd kill, otherwise it's not going to work out. Zeus gets the 1, and Zeus in the corner, there's Freiberg. That is a huge frag coming through. If he can even get the bomb plant, it's going to secure them so much more money, and Freiberg actually manages to do it. Deagle in hand, looking for the headshot. Cease will shut him down, and that was a predictable outcome, but still, that's very, very important, right? They kill 3 members, they get the bomb plant down, that's the $800 bonus, and because this is going to be the 4th round that they, so the fourth round that they lose in a row. Wow! Yeah, they're trying to get the AWP off the roof here. Edward trying to shoot it off. That's interesting. Okay. Is he going to be... Oh!
He got it at the end. He got it at the end.
He had that HE grenade.
Nice try, nice try. But it's not going to happen. And in the end, I mean, looking at the kills right now, there's a couple of players, you know, we're not seeing that key 1-2 combination punch coming out of NIP right now. Forrest is at 7, but get right, he's only at the 4. And we got the NIP chat. Wait.
Yeah, I think it is the NIP chant, as far as I can tell. 15 kills on Edward, Guardian on 13, the scoreline being 10-2 in favor of Na'Vi. Flamey isolated behind the sandbags up here. That's a bit dangerous. He's got Seized inside. He's flashed out once, and Seized doesn't have a second flashbang just yet, so they've got to be a bit careful here. And actually, they're going to double down on the aggression. I think Na'Vi might be taking a little bit of a risk here. But NIP, I think they need the last 3 rounds in a row, and that's not impossible. Again, the money for Na'Vi is just not that good. If they win 2 rounds in a row here, they probably get the 3rd for free. So there is an outside chance still. Let's see. I've been saying this for a while now. Push that B-bomb side. Get the same trades that you were earlier and see if you can't make it work. Now, the problem is there is a 3rd man rotating in. They need it to be just 2. Seized in the corner here. Flashes are great coming out. Seized gets the 1 kill in. Can they finally isolate? It is a double, and Flamey spraying down 2, and Threat now all alone in a 1-on-3. The defense just too much for Na'Vi here. And NIP not trading like they did previous rounds. Threat gonna try and wrap around, but he goes down to Zeus and Na'Vi. They make it 11-2. What a powerful first half it's been already. And it might not be over just yet.
No, they nip one off this wild ride, Anders. But unfortunately, they're only like halfway through the roller coaster, and then the cart kind of got stuck there, right? And they're just hanging upside down.
You can tell the problem as well. Get Right is first in. He gets flashed and dies, so he cannot even communicate to his teammates that Seized is in the corner. He has no way of knowing it, right? So Seized is allowed to get the 2nd kill before they finally realize, all right, he's actually right behind us. So that kind of thing makes a big difference, just not being able to tell your teammates where the opponent actually is. 14th round is coming up here, and so far it's been all Na'Vi all the way. And that is such a dirty peek as well. Guardian coming in and taking out Get Right.
Yeah, that's just what's brutal now, because they're going to have all the confidence Na'Vi to go for those risky plays. They don't care. They've got 11 rounds on the board at this point. If it goes 11-4, it's more than enough for them to get the job done in the next half. So just keep applying the pressure. Do not let it up on NIP. Whereas NIP now, it's Threat, Forrest, and Exist, the last 3 alive. They do have a good nade count. They can still try and go for some kind of play here, but they haven't had any luck on either site. Nothing to build any confidence off of. They're just like, go to A site, get wrecked by Guardian. Go to B site, Flamey's there. It's not panning out at all.
Flashes go through. Guardian full flash, but they're not pushing while he is. He misses the shot. Next is going to take down 1, but Zeus with a blind spray right through is going to connect with 1 kill. Still a 2-on-4. They've got the time for it here, but they need to win some really good battles right now, and Zeus is not letting them. He's going to get the other kill in, and Threat very low as well on health. And in a 1-on-4, best he could do right now is maybe try and steal a rifle for the end of the round, but he's going to end up going down, and Seized will get that frag. 12-2.
And
wow.
Do they save the op for Guardian? They don't save. Well, I mean, he's got the money for it, so it's not the end of the world.
They don't care. Not anymore.
All AKs.
Edward,
all nades.
Edward, Guardian, Flamey. I mean, everybody right now is doing really well. And now there's not a single person that's lacking behind. On the other team, Freiburg has been having a very good game. He's got 12 kills here. Forrest on 7 and Exist on 5. And then Get Right and Threat very low on the scoreboard right now. They don't have a lot to show for it.
No, they're really struggling. Threat, you can tell, just not able to go toe-to-toe with the members of Na'Vi the way he was with Maus yesterday. It's just a completely different level at this point. And Exist, he's just getting full flashed, gunned down by Flamey. No mercy there. Threat, he's looking for the headshot. He's holding the angle, but the timing doesn't work, and Flamey wins that duel as well. Once again, we find ourselves very early on here with NIP down 2 players, and soon a 3rd, except that Flamey actually runs out of bullets. Finally, something works for NIP.
And again, it's Freiburg coming up with some good kills here. Second one going through as well on Guardian.
3-on-3.
I feel like NIP have shown that they have some tools in the toolbox here. They're not using them very well. If Freiburg can get entries like these, then why hasn't he been allowed to get more of them in the beginning of the round? They keep putting Get Right in first.
Stop fragging right now.
Yeah, and he hasn't been getting many entries either. Let's Get Right going down to Seized, and it seems like it's going to start or end pretty much the way it started here. Forrest going down and Freiburg all alone with a 14 kills considering that they're 10 rounds behind. That is impressive. but it doesn't really make a difference in the overall scoreline, obviously. And in a 1-on-3 with about 19 health, that I think it's pretty much done here. 30 seconds left as well. He's got so little time to work with.
No, that's the main issue here. Although Nip, I mean, there is still a chance just because Na'Vi have elected to split up. But then the man holding B, Zeus, is in such an off angle that it's just not going to work for Freiburg. What a performance from Na'Vi. I mean, clearly the analysts are on point right now saying that this team is favored to take the whole thing because
they said they could.
They don't look like they're under threat at any point in time.
They could make a clear run into the grand finals and maybe even win that. I mean, it's not looking too far off right now. It is a best of 3, and it's the first map, but it's also the map that NIP picked. They're on the less favored side. We have seen comebacks from 13-2 on Inferno, but I would say that it's few and there's far between them, especially at this level. You don't just easily make this comeback work.
There was a time when NIP could do it.
Yeah,
can they do it today?
It's a time where they could almost reliably do it.
Yeah, where it was just like fated that they were unbeatable.
That time is 3 years ago, you know.
Nearing 4 years ago, yes.
So it's getting just a little bit scary for them. But so okay, until it gets real close, the comeback is going to be sort of even in our minds a little bit distant. That doesn't mean that there's nothing to gain for NIP the remainder of this map here, right? You don't want to go into a second map feeling that you never even sort of really got into the game. So if NIP, say they end up losing this game, you know, 16-10, then at least they will have had sort of 10 rounds to prove to themselves, and I guess everyone else too, that they actually can, you know, do something in this game. Obviously, if they lose the pistol round, then yeah, then the second map will essentially be sort of just as cold as the first one, right? They won't have had any real time to sort of warm up properly and feel like they could do this.
No, and Na'Vi, it's Na'Vi's pick, the next map, and it's Mirage. We've seen Nip struggle on it as well. So this is all just stacking up on top of Nip, really. Just all these thoughts are going through their heads right now. They're trying to keep that little voice from pestering them, but the reality is it's not looking too good here. But I mean, there's always a chance. NIP, they've done it before. That's what they're telling themselves as well right now. We've done this in the past, boys. It's time to bring it back. It's time to figure it out. And Freiburg has just been delivering a monster performance so far, at least as far as Nip are concerned. He's still sitting at 14 frags, but that's double what the runner-up has. You know, Forest, Get Right, they need to wake up. They're so far behind right now compared to Freiburg. Whereas everybody on Na'Vi are just across the board hitting their shots, all in the mid-teens, looking fantastic right now. So the countdown has begun to get into the second half. Pistol round. Na'Vi now switching over to the T side. NIP, can they withstand the push? Can they actually hold them off?
Well, we will be finding out. It is the 16th round coming up here. Pistols in their hands again, and we're going to see if they can find a way through. Forest is already gone down. That's Flamey with the opening frag now. They're rushing onto the A-bomb side, and if Threat goes down as well, it's going to be horrible. There is a lot of backup coming in here, all the way up middle. Threat hitting a great shot and taking out Edward, but the bomb has been planted, and now it's into a 4-on-4. Threat out in the open, taking that fight. No fear at all on him, it seems. This retake had better work for NIP because it's their only chance to make any kind of a mark on Inferno. And there's Get Right executing Guardian up in apartments. That's a good start. They need a lot more, though. That bomb is ticking in sight. They need to get it in diffuser as well. Freiburg is going down. It's into a 3-on-3. Seized in the pit, trying to stay alive. Threat getting Flamey kill. He's doing so much work right now. So's going to go down. It's all on Seized. Can he stop this? They are going to try and see if they can get him killed before they worry about the bomb. And there's Get Right. There will be enough time. And NIP, they pick up the pistol round, with Threat picking up a double and Get Right doing the same.
There we go. Crowd starting to get hype a little bit here. NIP giving them hope. I mean, it's necessary. And Threat shows up big. Basically, he nearly doubled his frag count going into that. After that round. So there we go. 2 kills, all of them key, all of them crucial. Very nice catch on the flank that was coming around towards Arch from Na'Vi. The rest of Na'Vi, you know, just all sitting on that site. But then that allowed for NIP to stop focusing, or to not worry about the backstab coming in. They could just focus on taking over the bomb site and getting that bomb defused. And so a successful pistol round here for NIP. Now we have to see, are they going to be able to follow it up?
Well, there's a bit of a scare here because we've got 4 Deagles in play from the Na'Vi side, and they have some of the best Deagle players in the world as well. You've got to be really scared right now if you're NIP once you realize what's coming your way. Freiburg actually playing an off angle here, and they aren't able to sort of, you know, peek into it, crouch in, because there's no way to know that he's going to be right there.
I'm just curious, man. This is the CIS Deagle buy. 4 Deags. With the likes of Flamey, Guardian on the team as well. Like, these guys, they hit shots, and Guardian, he's got the angle! Threat, brave enough to hang around with that P90, and he nearly drops Guardian. He might get the second chance here. Threat doing big damage, dropping C's low as well.
I'm not sure if they spotted out Exist, but if they know he's in that corner, it's obviously a lot less effective. Threat and Exist really got to be careful here. Exist showing himself now, they know for sure. And Threat going to try and clean it up there. Good double spray as Guardian and Flamey both go down. Zeus and Edward are going to be left. There is no armor on Na'Vi, so you've got to sort of factor that in as well, that these SMGs that are on NIP, they are a lot more effective.
That's just gonna help.
Yeah, definitely will.
Zeus is like, thanks. Now I can pick up the bomb for free. Unfortunately, Edward decides to step out into the open, hoping to catch somebody out of position, it seems, and that's just not going to work. Zeus is now alone. 30 seconds left on this clock, and all he wants is to achieve that bomb plant. And if he can get the Deagle headshot in, it could happen, but Forrest is going to find him in the end with the UMP. Trades up for the Deag, and a 4th round on the board here for NIP, which is exactly how it's supposed to play out as far as they're concerned. Na'Vi, because of the bomb plant and the pistol, will be able to pick up the rifles, but they're so very low on utility. A couple smokes picked up, a handful of flashes. Flamey and Guardian just going straight AK Kevlar. So this is, they're looking for the aim fight. They're just spoiling for it at this point.
Threat picking up that P90 again. I was worried for a second there. There's a lot of Molotovs on NIP, so you could tell they're already sort of trying to see if they can buy a lot of time. They know that Na'Vi are probably going to be a very slow team here on the terrorist side, as they usually are. So if they just count on that and save their smokes and Molotovs until, you know, the first sort of 30 seconds at least have gone by, then maybe they will still be able to try and lock them out of some bomb sites. And you can tell NIP, they really haven't used a lot of the grenades just yet.
Timing couldn't be worse. Is Get Right going to be able to pull this off? Decides to get in, and there we go. Some teamwork being shown by NIP. They have the nades. Make use of them. Freiburg setting up Get Right for that peek into top banana with the flash behind him. But now Na'Vi, because they're so limited on utility, they have to be very careful with how they take these positions. Can't really afford to commit a flash. They don't have an incendiary to clear out sandbags. And so it comes down to, I mean, Zeus just trying to bait a reaction out, actually. Trying to see, is somebody going to get, you know, a little greedy, take that extra step that would open it up for him to be able to get the shot.
But they're doing a very good job right now in IP. 50 seconds left. They've just put up another smoke, but they have all 5 Molotovs intact. One of them just being put out there. So they're really saving these grenades, which is what you have to do playing against Na'Vi, who now have a lot of mid-control. And that means they can execute pretty much all over the map, because NIP won't have a lot of idea what's going on. Oh, he heard the tink from that shot, and Edward, easy follow-up from that. That was a random guess. You can even tell he did a little bit of a double take then. Saying, was that a helmet that I just heard through?
That was perfect.
But now look at Na'Vi. They're going to try and see if they can get into this bomb site. There are no more Molotovs here. Guardian with a very important kill, shutting out Exist, but the push is going to happen with about 13 seconds left. This is a classic Na'Vi. Freiburg free firing, taking down Flamey. 8 seconds, Freiburg with the second kill. He really is playing a fantastic game right now. He's got the pistol out, looking for the shot. Freiburg with a triple, and now it's down to Guardian all alone, and he has to run away. There's no time. Wow.
What a performance from Freiburg.
He's tied for the top frags with Flamey, 17 kills.
Oh yeah, there we go. He's nearly doubling. I mean, again, he's keeping ahead of the rest of his teammates. The team, you know, the rest of his team need to catch up here, because Freiburg, he has not given up. He's putting everything into this match to keep his team alive in this first map of this best-of-3 quarterfinal. And Na'Vi, well, quasi-buy for them, Kevlar, a couple of pistols, and then just trying to play off of Guardian's AK, and he's just showing no fear at all. He's like, okay, I've got the rifle, I'm going to get something done with it. Goes charging straight up mid. HE's there to greet him, but it hardly does any damage at all. And now can he find Threat? And there it is, the peak, but it's not quite going to connect. Instead, Exist shuts him down. Edward was close enough to recover the AK, though, and he actually just tags Threat through the wall.
Oh, Exist doing a very good job. Look at that. All 4 kills. Finally, they shut him down, but you've got to believe that they're going to be rallying behind Freiburg right now. He's not supposed to be the guy carrying the team. So when he does, it should get everyone else fired up and should get the atmosphere running. And you could bet they could hear those chants as well. Freiburg to end the round, 13-6 right here. Na'Vi were allowed to have a 6-round sort of run in the beginning of their CT side before NIP chimed in with the only 2 rounds that they got. And right now it's been 4 in a row for NIP, so we'll see. It's still way too early to sort of get too excited. Na'Vi play this terrorist half very well. They're one of the most exciting teams in the world to watch on this T side of Inferno.
This will be the test. and he just can't get up to the AWP Guardian. Whatever he does, goes for the force buy, it doesn't work, and now he's just stuck on a Tech 9 and a couple of nades. He wants that op. On the T side, he's so effective. But there are the flashes to apply some pressure on mid, and Na'Vi going through the motions. And as I say that seized, catches Get Right completely out of position. It's like, see, you know, Get Right, you're going to play my position? I'm the one who crouches behind car. I'm the one who gets kills from there. Don't think so.
But look at that kind of an entry. How many rounds did NIP do that when they had all 5 members alive? They got it when they had already lost 2, and then it's not really going to make that big of a difference here. So that's what they needed right now, Na'Vi. They've got so much time to figure out where they want to go. And that is also, that's just the weak, sort of the downside of NIP saving all their grenades, is that Seized could just walk in and get that kill. He doesn't have to walk for a smoke. There's really nothing there to stop him. So Na'Vi quick with the adjustment to try and sort of counter what NIP are trying to do here.
Right now, it's just waiting. They're setting up. Flamey's there to watch to make sure that that nobody's going to be pushing on, but the smokes are going to go out. Bomb is going to rotate back towards Banana. Exactly. They've already got top Banana control, and now this is all about just throwing the fake, throwing a wrench of things here for NIP. It's going to pull somebody out of position. That's Threat rotating back to Speedway, and Freiburg's now alone on that B site. If they can get a kill, that would be even better. And Zeus and Flamey, they're just annihilating the A defense. Forrest has been smoked off a position, but it's down to Threat and Forrest now, and they're trying to rotate in. Threat actually wins the duel, but then gets shut down by Seized, and it's all on Forrest now, 1v3. And he's just hoping to get lucky and catch somebody out here, because otherwise it's just not going to happen. There are so many angles that he has to worry about coming into this position. We saw it earlier with Guardian. Now Forrest finds himself in the same kind of situation.
Well, with that kind of opening, Edward is miles away. Forrest can actually get this kill on Seized, then he would have had enough time for the defuse. He doesn't have a kit or anything, or he does have a kit, but he doesn't have a smoke grenade, so maybe if he just tries to hold it down, Seized waiting on the angle. Molotov is right there. Forrest trying to get it. Oh, he actually dies to his own grenade. Forrest trying to go for the fight here, but now there's no time. He has to hold it in, and on the other side, Edward is there trying to go for it. Oh, it's going to be Na'Vi picking up the 14th round, but that is seconds away.
Oh, wow. He's just like, well, that incendiary might not have been the best choice there in case Forrest was trying to push him down. Obviously, that's what he's thinking, but then it ends up working against him. Forrest, he played that perfectly, as best he could. But in a 1v2 like that, Edward manages to make it there in time and saves the day.
Imagine if he had had a smoke left still. That would have been a very, very interesting situation. Well, going into the 21st round, the scoreline is 14-6 in favor of Na'Vi right now. And NIP, they can buy, and they have bought, including an auto sniper on Get Right here. So they're using the full arsenal right now. They want to make sure that this is as far as Na'Vi gets. If they can take 10 rounds in a row, it definitely won't be easy. But it's not impossible.
This is some old school OG Get Right coming out with the Scar 20. I've got to love to see that. Changing it up, but he's going to get that smoke down now. And NIP are electing to play pretty far back on the site. So Na'Vi, they'll have all this part of the map locked down and ready to go fairly soon here. C's just keeping an eye on things for the meantime. And over on A, same story. I mean, Na'Vi, like right now, NIP are allowing Na'Vi to just get full control of everything. And that's not really what you want to do with Na'Vi. Once they have map control, they're so good at crisp, clean executes and just getting everything to fall into place so nicely. It takes, you know, huge plays from Freiburg, right? Individual talent to come to the fore to stop that kind of execute coming into a site and just rolling over you.
I'm really wondering about Get Right's position right now. All the way in the back there, is the auto sniper really going to be useful from this position? Sure, if they boost up like he's expecting, but if they get into the bomb site, and they are walking in right now, he's looking for the shot here. You can see a couple of faces. Well, there's the one kill. That's a good start here, but they're challenging him. They're fighting him. They're not scared. Get Right. Oh, he gets all 3 kills. Looking for one to go. That's the ace. Get Right shutting it down, and it's 14-7.
There you go. He's even shaking his head. He's like, I don't even know how it does it. Where was Freiburg in that? Yeah, Freiburg rotating over to Coils. That was the important bit. They kept having to deal with him because they hadn't even found Freiburg yet. It's not until it's over. What a beautiful hold coming in from Get Right. That made all of the difference. And we've got...
You would think, even at some point, you'd think that someone from Na'Vi would say, well, we have grenades, you know? Let's just grenade that back corner. Molotov, Smoke, HE, doesn't really matter. Any one of them would have put Get Right in a horrible position, but they have the confidence, and maybe a little bit too much of it, decided to run right into the Get Right meat grinder, and it's going to be a little bit of an interesting position here. I mean, that's a single round from Na'Vi on the second half. And now they're sort of economically reset, and as a result, as a direct response, they go for the pistol buy up here. They got a lot of smokes. They're going to try and see if they can just get that entry on the A-bomb side here, and then just train right through.
I'm not a huge fan of this, to be frank. Just because you have so many rounds to work with on Navi's side, you have such a lead, you can afford to even eat a double eco and make sure that you have full nades and everything you need going into the next round. What Navi are counting on right now is just being able to get this execute underway and cross their fingers and hope to get the bomb plant to get that bonus money.
Well, they used all the grenades. They smoked off a huge part of the bomb site. Seas is falling back with the bomb. So, I mean, if they can actually lure NIP out here, this might be working out. They could get a bomb plant in. It's a good trade so far for NIP with Threat coming up with a double kill. Guardian looking for a shot on Forest, but even that Deagle's not going to be quite enough. And get right, he's so ready for it here, looking for the auto sniper, but somehow the P250 is just going to best him this time around. That's a bit unfortunate. Bomb goes down. Seas picks up the auto sniper. Now he's in the back lines with a 1-on-3. This still should not be doable. They have so many grenades. Well, they have a couple of grenades left, enough that they should be able to zone it out here, but you never know. He's looking to get the early fight in here. Spots one guy jumping past, but they're getting dangerously close, and he's out of the open, and Forrest will take him out. And that's going to be another round here. 14-8 going to be the scoreline. They will obviously save that that auto sniper. How much further? Freiburg still leading the charge on NIP with 18 kills, which is the exact same as Edward and also Flamey has.
And now the rest of NIP are starting to close that gap as well. They're all up into double digits. You have to give it to Seas, though. Runs into Get Right and wins with the P250 when that same Scar 20 had wrecked his team in the round before.
It all helps, and again, we do want to reiterate for any newcomers, any new viewers out there that haven't watched the game too much, if you get the bomb plant on the terrorist side, even if you lose the round, which they just did, everybody on the team still gets an $800 bonus. Now, if you're going to be playing as many rounds as maybe we will be here, that all stacks up. If you get a couple of bomb plants in, it's another round where you can buy all the rifles. It all adds up in the end, and that's all Navi are thinking right now. We need as many buy rounds as we can, and fewer pistol rounds than what we're having right now, or just eco rounds, as we call them. Forrest going to be picking up one kill. Guardian going down as well, and seems like there's no issue here. Forrest just having a grand old time up in the apartments.
Yeah, he's hearing those footsteps coming in. That allows him to just get that timing down pat. And it's going to be down to Seas now. Once again, all by his lonesome. Odds of him getting the bomb plant now that the bomb has been dropped out in the open, not too high. And with no Kevlar, it's not going to work for him either when he gets tagged up by Forrest. So 9 rounds on the board now for NIP, who are just slowly grinding them out one after another. But finally, Guardian has his AWP. Just enough money to go glass cannon, but the rest of Navi is still so very light on nades. That's the main concern. Is just if with these force buys, they're always going to be limited with the nade count. They have they have 4 smokes, great, but 2 flashes to work with to crack into a site. It's not a lot.
But what they also have is the AWP on Guardian, and this is scary for NIP. If they take the wrong fight at the wrong time here, he could definitely entry them and get right. All the way at the top here. Auto Sniper versus AWP. If that ends up happening, that could be a little bit risky. Grenade rains in, and it's an easy double shot. Seas never stood a chance. Hiding in the corner there is Existent Threat. He's going to go down. Guardian opening up the arch side of middle. Now walking in, actually turning his back there. That could be horrible. Just going to get Molotov away, but if Exist had been in a little bit of a better angle, that would have probably been a kill on Guardian.
If he hadn't been throwing that nade, 100% a kill. Exist is going to be like bashing his desk right now because he had the Guardian dead to rights if he wasn't throwing that incendiary. And now it comes down to Get Right moving into position once again. They've changed it up, they've rotated it around, and he's going to get the headshot onto Zeus to start it off. So a man advantage once again for NIP on the CT side. And Edward, he's just hoping that he can actually find somebody here. But NIP, they don't need to play forward anymore. They've got the man advantage. They've got time working for them. They have the utility advantage as well. But Get Right decides to peek, and Guardian is waiting for him. And it's a fair trade in mid once again for Navi.
Forrest, he's way out in the open. I thought maybe he was down in the pit, but that open position, it only works when he's got another teammate there. Now, Freiburg, he's going to be put to the test here. He's been playing out of this world so far, but this might be the most important round yet. He's going to try and walk in here, crouches through. Edward is right there, and already he's been spotted. So that position being given up, and the Molotov going out is going to make his life so much tougher. Navi, maybe a little bit hungry to peek here. They don't really need to. They could just fall back and wait for him to come in. Don't want to give him any kind of an edge. Flashbang in once, and Freiburg trying to move up, but he's going to go down to Edward. Solid defense being put out by Navi, and a solid round from Guardian with those 2 kills. That's going to make it map point 15-9 here. Navi now just a single round away, and NIP would need to win 6 rounds in a row here to get into overtime, which It's possible, I would say.
It is possible on CT side Inferno. It is possible, especially because they had such a strong economy. They can go right back into buying all of the nades necessary to shut down portions of the map. The only issue here is that Na'Vi were able to save Guardian's AWP, and this time he even has Kevlar, so he's going to be even more open to taking fights because he can afford to take a couple of hits while he lines up his shot. Na'Vi, though, they do have a higher nade count this time around, and Threat is the one on the AWP for the Ninjas. Interesting choice here. Forrest, he's been so good with the rifle, you can understand it. But what, the flying peek straight up from Guardian, and this time he catches out Zeus.
That was a little bit risky, but Edward, he's going to get the refrag at least. And we'll wonder, Threat, could he really make a difference for us? Walking up behind Spray, not connecting, he gets the kill, but that could have been much quicker. And now Threat on the angle, Get Right showing out to help up the other two members of Na'Vi, trying to make it out the middle of the Threat, caught in the open, and he's going to be going down. There's plenty of time left here. Get Right with a nice flash, they almost line up for him. That could have been a great double. And now it's Freiburg versus Edward. It's the same battle that we had last round, and Edward won it. This time, it's going to have to be Freiburg, or this map is going to be all done with. Freiburg has a lot more grenades, though, and Edward, he's up on the box right there. Freiburg putting in the one, second Molotov to follow up here. Edward in a very, very good angle. Freiburg not going to be expecting it. He walks in, he does see it, he sprays, but Edward closes it out, and Na'Vi are going to be taking away Inferno 16-9.
Oh, that's painful, and I'm glad we got to see the reaction there from Freiburg. He knows he had to be so close to landing that shot. And a big win coming in for Na'Vi to start things off. Nip showing that they still had some fight in them, and this actually bodes well for the next map. They were, at least, it wasn't just a crushing defeat. They were still able to get a few rounds on the board, start to get warmed up a little bit. So that's definitely going to be feeling a little bit better for NIP going into the second map. But Na'Vi, they did what they came to do. They win on Nip's map pick, and now they're going into Mirage, which is their turf.
Oh man, you gotta wonder what would have happened if they had had just a little bit more, a few more rounds to play with or anything like that. It didn't turn out in that way. We are gonna be going into the second map, which is Mirage. But we'll be back after a quick commercial break here with the first quarterfinals.
Oh.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the MLG Major Championship here live in Columbus, Ohio. We've got one map down in our first matchup. Na'Vi takes it 16-9. But again, Nip is not out of the building yet. Obviously, it's a best of 3. But again, they're on the ropes. This could get ugly for them. Now we go to Mirage, which is Na'Vi's pick, right? So starting with you, Thorin, first let's talk about this first map that we just saw.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this had to be the map for Nip. This was the one because actually, realistically, this is Na'Vi's worst map. Because, I mean, obviously you would say Cash, but since they never actually play it, we don't even know what they play like on that map. It's basically we have no LAN information. So Inferno's the map after that, which has always been the danger map for Na'Vi. It's the one that comes up as the third map in series. It's the one that people pick when they ban out Cash. People like Inferno, people like Fnatic rather, like Astralis, they'll always just pick Inferno, and they know they've always got a good chance against Na'Vi there. So Nip had to come out strong, and obviously the first half was not a strong showing. I will say, the reason why the score ended up much closer is it almost feels like those other 4 players, they know the sense of urgency here, that like, we can't just play, we're not just going to be a normal team here. We are in some ridiculous odds where we have to play crazy above the rim if we want to have a chance here. Threat was okay. I mean, Forrest obviously had some clutch moments in the game. Freiburg actually had a few moments where he allowed Nip chances to win rounds, but I mean, what do you want to say? Flamey was just unreal in this game. Guardian obviously got it rolling with the AWP. It's not even, that's one of the reasons why I think Inferno's not that great for them. It's not that great an AWP map. It's the sort of map where if you can use an AWP and be effective, you're just one of the best AWPers in the world. So you really saw here how scary Na'Vi is, that they can still win comfortably on a map like that, which is one that they don't really want to be playing. And so it doesn't bode that well going into Mirage. I mean, obviously, maybe because of the time, let's see what time it is, it's still early in the morning, maybe Nip just goes, April Fools, we're actually really sick. Threat was actually our in-game leader all along, and now we're just going to wreck you on
NWO t-shirts for real.
Yeah, maybe. Probably not though, Scott. I reckon that was just them getting a good old-fashioned butt-whooping, as I've been told to say it on MLG broadcasts.
Butt-whooping is allowed?
Yeah.
The term butt-whooping is allowed. That's good to know. We do have one highlight. Let's go ahead and roll that for you. I'm pretty sure this is that Get Right Ace. We're going to find out. Yeah, it certainly is.
And you could see he brought the auto sniper out so early because they knew they just had to get something going, something that would bring him back into this. And this was sick the way they just like nicely lined up for him right at the end. But
maybe he heard that. I said it has to be NIP 2013, and actually famously, when they used to be winning, Get Right would always style on opponents by bringing out the auto sniper. Absolutely. Get Right and Forrest did have their moments in this game. Like, you could tell they kind of knew, like, it's on us. Like, we're essentially going to have to win the rounds against these guys. Unfortunately, you can't expect 2 people to win a game against one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, and especially on that Terra side on Inferno, just no success early on in those rounds. It came down to some of those clutch moments. That miraculous 2-on-3 where Guardian just had to have some mix-up with the in-game sound. Just didn't hear him running around rap side. It didn't even turn around at all. So they got fortunate with that one and then the 1-on-2 by Force, but can't rely on those. And when you're not having any early success, especially on Inferno, it just gets way too difficult to come back in those rounds, no matter how much star power you have.
What stood out for you?
Well, Flamey, you know, I mean, like we're all talking about Guardian, and rightly so, but this transformation of this player is unbelievable, how consistent he is, and yeah, he's mixing it up with Forrest and Get Right, and pretty much putting a team on his back on a map that they famously, usually it's super competitive. Now, for one pistol round, that could have been embarrassing. That could have been a 16-2.
Yeah.
You know, that could have happened. So and he was just at the heart of everything good that they did. So boding very, very well for the series and for the tournament if he can keep playing like that. So.
And now, of course, let's fast forward to Mirage. Sure. Starting with you, Jason, your thoughts on how this one's going to work out?
I mean, if Guardian's able to just go beast on Inferno the way he did, Mirage is going to be just a playground for him. He's going to have a lot of fun. And that's the thing. There isn't really anyone on NIP to challenge. But even if Get Right does get the auto sniper, he can do a lot of work, and it's good on Mirage where you can spam through some smokes, and you don't get too blocked off because you have so many bullets that just pop right through. But there's really no one to challenge Guardian in any of his positions. They're going to have to be really clean on their executions, and it was a struggle to get any of those opening kills on Inferno. So I don't see how they're going to be able to put themselves in these mid-round and late-round situations with some kind of an advantage.
And Mirage is very much like Dust 2 for Guardian in the sense that it's his playground. This is one of the maps that he famously has big performances on. You know, like obviously we're in America, so they'll appreciate fastest gun in the West reference, and that's what Guardian is. He's so fast it up, and that's how it works, right?
Up-to-date reference there, Rich.
Are you baiting me to say yippee ki yay,
mother? No, mother lover. So we all love our mothers. Happy Mother's Day. But anyway, the point is that he's so good in that mid position, both defensively on the CT because he's so quick, and then he's so mobile mobile and quick on the terrorist side that he just dominates mid. So who's going to step up? Well, Forrest has been picking up the AWP for NIP, and Forrest is great, but he's not a great AWPer. You know, like he's a good AWPer, he's very solid, but he can't go toe-to-toe with Guardian. And this is why they've actually been banning out Mirage at various points in the tournament, because they're going to have to kind of scramble to make something work. Well, Na'Vi are one of the best Mirage teams in the world, so what we've seen on Inferno, it should get worse for them. This should be the turn of the screw where Guardian just goes off.
Yeah, and Duncan, obviously your thoughts on Mirage.
I will give it to NiP in this sense. The one bright spot is that before they brought in Threat, obviously not their choice, when they had Pit in the lineup, that team actually, Mirage was their go-to. That was the best map for them. They'd even been able to beat Luminosity on it at IEM, and they're a very good Mirage team. So previously it was a good map. So the positive side is 4 of these players are good on Mirage. They know what they do, they know the routine. The problem is they tried it against Luminosity at this tournament, got totally spanked on it, and as a result have actually been scared of it and have been going away from it. So in that sense, I feel like as a team, they don't like what's going on with that map. So that's the bigger problem for me, is I don't feel like the cohesion will be there, and I don't feel like they have the confidence actually in themselves. They don't have a choice at this point in time. Their backs are against the wall. But there's at least some routine there. Maybe they can get some rounds. The thing is, it is Na'Vi. And Na'Vi, I mean, like I said, I would probably pick them at the moment to be the best team in the world on this map. And Guardian, I mean, he was good in that map, but he still has another level he can go to, especially on a map like this where it can be opened up more and he can kind of move around and go wherever he wants. That's when he's going to be incredibly dangerous. Because if any map that have those longer ranges, I mean, he's just styling on you and you're trying to fire super long AK shots, which Valve likes to have an inaccuracy at that sort of range, and you're not going to be killing him. So I feel like this is going to be a pretty dominant performance by Na'Vi. And the thing is, in the first map, even though it was such a dominant CT side, Na'Vi actually played from the beginning round with like absolute arrogance. Like you saw, even when NIP had full rifles, Na'Vi just kept like 2 SMGs. They were like, we're just going to keep these until you kill us. Even though in that scenario, the reason why that's always very dangerous is not only do you have to be better than the guy with the AK, but if your teammate dies and gives someone else a weapon, then they've got a better weapon than you still. So they had the arrogance to be like, we're just going to try and style you. We're going to try and 16-0 you. So I think on this map particularly, I know they can be good on both sides. I think NIP is really going to struggle on CT side of this map to keep Na'Vi out. And
they really miss Pit here, NIP, because he had some of his statistically strongest performances in that team on this map in particular. And think about what they did in the ESL Pro League, where they're 14 for 2, top of that league at the moment. Well, Mirage has been their statistically strongest map, and Pit has been one of the statistically strongest players on that map. So everything is against them here. This would be unreal if they can force a third map.
Yeah, we know Guardian is that kind of AWPer who gets that mood into him once in a while on a map where he just wants to go out, hunt down kills, and be that dominant force. And it's not only just the AWPing itself; it's that you can do it from so many positions. You can have it aggressive in B, you can push it into Palace, you can peek down mid from window, from connector. There's so many different locations that AWP can just be a dominant force that influences what NiP has, where they can go on the map. It's going to be a constant guessing game of where are they going to find that AWP next, which corner is it lurking behind. So that's going to be very, very tough for them to read. I think the one big benefit that NIP has is this is a map where, at times, the B bomb site, when you're playing CT, gets a little bit ignored. It is kind of like the lesser used portion of the map, especially early on in the game. So they can put Threat there. They can have them play passive and spot.
Mirage in many ways.
Yes.
I like Canada. Canada's cool. Don't just keep going A all the time, basically saying. Next major in Canada. That's in North America too.
Any changes in your predictions? Any kind of final thoughts about this matchup, gentlemen?
No, but the thing I will say is when I say Na'Vi's going to smash them here and it's going to be like embarrassing, that's just because of how good Na'Vi is. Na'Vi, this is one of their best maps. They are one of the best teams in the whole world. It's not any fault of NiP's. Like, actually, I'll give credit to NiP. The reason why they had rounds in the first half there is the players like Get Right, like Forrest. Okay, we're talking before about, oh, can Na'Vi get over the hump against Fnatic? Can the Astralis guys come through? Guardian's finally playing well at majors. These guys never play badly at majors. Yeah. They always perform when the stage lights are on them. Now, what that means is the opponent has to perform as well. And that's the thing. I'm pretty sure Na'Vi is going to perform. So even those veteran performances by these guys who don't want to lose at this point, they want to force a third map, give the crowd something to cheer for. But I think Na'Vi's going to silence everyone, and we're going to be going on to the semis.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not changing anything. I think Na'Vi, this is going to be a big win for them. Yeah, this is going to be... I said it would be a slaughter, and I don't really think I'll change that. That Inferno match could have been much, much worse, like you said, Richard. Could have been a 16-2. I expect that this is going to be... The one thing, NAP starting on CT side may be able to get a few more rounds, but I still think this is going to be a dominant win from Na'Vi.
And I agree with the beautiful bald eagle Moses on American soil. It's going to be a slaughter.
Because you have so much hair.
Hey,
no,
I'm winning this battle. I'm winning this one.
Yeah, but
give me this.
You're like,
let me have this.
But you're like
You
twice
can
his
have it.
age, aren't you? I mean, oh, age joke from the old guy. Yeah.
Is this
deal
guy
with
for
that.
real?
Yeah.
Val, we need to have a talk, man.
Even I have more hair than you. All right. That'll do it. That'll do it for us. When we come back, map 2, Na'Vi and Ninjas in Pyjamas. Be right back.
Yeah, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're ready. It's going to be the second map coming up on Mirage between Na'Vi and NIP. And it turned out to be Na'Vi taking NIP's map pick away from them after what was an absolutely brutal first half. And then, you know, NIP just teasing us at the end, showing, oh, actually, we know how to play Inferno. We just took a really long time to get into the game, and it was way too late by the time it actually happened. Now, they are going to have to play Mirage, and there was a long, long time in Counter-Strike history when Na'Vi essentially were the best in the world at playing this map, and well, we're going to have to find out if they still are. I think there's been a lot of competition for it since. VP have certainly had their run on this map. Luminosity sort of made their appearance on the world stage on this map by upsetting a bunch of teams on it. Fnatic, I mean, they're good on every map, so you can't really even count that in, but yeah, there are a lot of teams now that know how to play this map very well.
NIP not one of them.
NIP not necessarily one of them, and I mean, actually, if you go back to the old NIP, this was not a map that they play. Once Mirage was remade from the Mirage C version into the sort of the modern day version, NIP essentially stopped playing it.
Yeah.
The only time they started playing it a little bit again was when Natus was coaching for them, because Natus 3D Max team, the Finnish team, they were very good at playing Mirage, so Natus brought some of that into the team, but since then, it's not been much, and it's never been a strength.
It's an up and down struggle for them for sure. And the fact that, you know, this is where that not having that full roster comes into play, full force. It's just like you need everybody to be firing on all cylinders when you're going into a map that you're not confident on. And any little detail is going to matter. Freiburg showed up on the first map in this series, but it took until like halfway through the second half for the rest of the team to join up with him and actually start getting some frags on the board. So now NIP, they have no excuse. They've had the first map to warm up. Now they all need to start just hitting their shots, or they're doomed here in this tournament.
Yeah, and I should obviously add that. I've said Natus, we should obviously add that Alu was playing on the team. Yeah. Very, very strong AWPer at the time, and this is a map where if you are a good AWPer, that's going to be excellent. NIP don't have anyone to stop Guardian.
Exactly, that's the main issue. We saw it at the end there where Threat goes for the op, right? It's like Forrest, he's feeling the rifle right now. He doesn't want to go to the AWP. His level kind of drops down when he does, but NIP, they need an answer to Guardian in that AWP. They need to be able to shut this guy down, and Mirage, the things that we've seen Guardian do, like he should be arrested. So, I mean, it's a really, really difficult situation here for NIP to find themselves in, but the countdown has begun. You guys can see it there on your screens. 10 seconds left before we get into the second map. And I hear an attempt at an NIP chant. We need more of an NIP chant.
Well, I mean, I think it makes a slight difference, especially because they need a good start here. They're going to be starting on the CT side at least. That tends to help a bit, but they're going to need a lot more right now. They need to show their true strength here. It's going to be almost all USP, and a little bit of utility buy coming in from Threat with that kit and a couple of flashbangs. Freiburg and Forrest actually checking out all of middle and not really finding any members of Na'Vi right now, so that's interesting. Oh, Forrest with a bit of a fight there. He can't get the shot in, and will in fact be seized, who's picked up the Tech 9 and armor. In fact, they have two of them, Semler.
Yeah, the double raid boss.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah, and this is something that we've seen Navi go for in the past as well. Flamey, he's so scary with the Tech 9, and he's going to catch Get Right out. Get Right's like, wait a second, but I'm usually the raid boss. There you go for the same strat. NIP, it's just that this time, everything is going Navi's way. They're winning all of the individual duels. NIP essentially wiped out. It's only Exist left, and he's going to do the best that he can, but it's not going to be enough. Edward takes the fight with him and wins straight up. So 1-0 start. Same thing that we saw in Inferno. A 1-0 lead here for Navi going into this second map now when they're on the T side, and this is not the favored side of this map. So once again, NIP off to a rough start.
And that's a problem because you could bet you that NIP used the full extent of the break between first and second map here to try and talk through everything and make sure that they were in the best possible mood going into this. And it's possible. I mean, they are professionals. They've been playing for a very long time. You definitely change the mood within the team. But when you then go right into it and just get knocked out, then what are you going to do? They didn't even have a chance in that pistol round. Freiburg running into a bit of a grenade, but that's a good follow-up with the Deagle. Does some damage to Guardian. They need a strong start because otherwise all of the sort of team talk that was going in, it's going to ring really hollow if they can't make it work early on here. And that's a nice little peek from Flamey to shot one down threat actually with a good click coming through, and Flamey will go down. Zeus with the follow-up.
Yeah, holds his own there actually. Nice shots coming in here from Force as well, dancing around the bench, but that Molotov's going to force him out onto the site and into C's Waiting Arms, who gets a double spray down as they come out of kitchen. Edward with the last kill. And Navi, they withstand the nip hold here. They actually keep all the important bits alive. The 2 AKs, 2 UMPs. So Navi are just going to be making money at this point. And it's going to come down to just Wayne Guardian's going to be able to pick up that AWP. T-side, that's what it's all about. I know I keep mentioning it, but it's just like Navi have almost built their team around this man with the AWP, with the sniper rifle. Flamey has come to the fore to back him up with the rifle, but Guardian, he just gets everything going his way when it comes to Navi and their strategies.
Well, third round is not going to be that exciting because NIP, again, they really don't have a lot of equipment here. So this is one of those rounds where you gotta look for the small things in NIP's play, try and see if they could maybe sneak a rifle away, make it a bit more expensive for Navi. But the way Navi are playing it right now, it shouldn't be too much here. The pop flash is going to go through, but there's no one there, which is a bit of a shame. And in the meantime, the B bomb side is falling. So it's still a good idea for NIP. We should credit them with trying something. And then Flamey, a little bit of action there with the MAC-10 just jumping on through threat, trying to be clever, but he's going to end up going down anyway, and nobody dies for Navi. So again, over time, all of these flawless rounds really make a difference.
Yeah, this is a nightmare for NIP at this point. Same thing exactly. I mean, we're just seeing Inferno play out again because now Navi, their economy is going to be soaring. Guardian has more than enough money to go for the AWP, and he's even actually holding a little bit back right now. Is he going to pick up any nades or not? Yeah, he will eventually make that investment, but they still have a little bit in the bank. Full utility, however, for the rest of Navi, and Zeus actually sticking on the UMP, which isn't necessarily, it's not that bad a choice depending on the position he elects to go with, just because the UMP does the most damage out of all the SMGs. But Get Right on that B site, it just feels like he's just getting insta-gibbed every time. No chance for him to shine whatsoever, and only a single kill has been picked up for NIP so far in the first 4 rounds. That's by threat. Nobody else has connected.
Some interesting flashbangs going out into that A-bomb side, going all the way across the wall then, but now the action is going to begin. Guardian missing a shot, and Forrest taking a kill on Zeus. Look at how much damage Forrest is doing. Edward and Guardian both being tagged up there. This is a very good start, even if Threat is a bit low on health right now. And Edward trying to see if he can sneak his way in. If they don't get this mid-control Navi, it's going to be hard for them to work with the rest of the map. And Edward has gone down. Forrest, if he comes into this game, it could be a very different feeling. Because last time it was mostly Freiburg, only Forrest showing up in the second half, really. Freiburg going to be going down. Get Right to fall as well, and it's right back. Threat going to have to see if he can do something, but he had so little health already. Now it's a 2-on-3. It turns in a couple of seconds. NIP, they can't afford to lose that kind of a lead.
Now Get Right just... You're thinking he's in the moment and he's waiting. He's communicated to his teammates. Obviously, once C starts shooting, it's too late. But C gets past him. He should have called out, okay, there's a man out onto the B site. But the fact that he can't drop the bomb up and be apartments, that made all of the difference. Forrest, 3rd kill for him so far in the round, but he's dropped down low, and Guardian will find the kill in the end. And it's all on Exist now, pushing out from Kitchen. There's the info peak. Guardian picks it up. And now his teammate, I mean, Seized is just the security here for Navi. As soon as Exist pushes past this line, Seized will be able to hold him off that bomb, and there's just not enough time left here, Anders. It's not going to happen for Exist. Seized will find the final kill and potentially go up with the bomb. Boom. Will go up with the bomb. So at least not have that. They made it expensive for Navi.
Well, imagine how hard it must have been for Exist as well to guess that he was going to be there, because that's where Forrest got his third kill. So Forrest would have called him, like, killed the guy at bench, then you don't expect for there to be a second guy. So even if Exist had a little bit more time, that would have still been a much easier fight for Seized than maybe it looked like. So 4-0, and again, those two magic rounds, when you're playing sort of a single map like this here, you win the pistol, you win the fourth round, especially on the terrorist side, and you know you're on the way to something very good indeed. Freiburg out in the open here, trying to see if he can take a fight. Gonna get shot out of the round by Zeus and Edward.
Yeah, now, I mean, sure, they got all the kills in the last round NIP, but Na'Vi in this round, they shouldn't drop anybody. They've even got a couple of SMGs to work with here. Get right holding up close. He's going to get caught out by Guardian. That's the Mac 10 going to work. So bonus $600 in Guardian's pocket. Threat gets the drop on Zeus, but Zeus is able to react in time to save himself, and Edward catches Forrest, trying to make his way back into the jungle. Oh, what a shot from Exist. Takes out Flavy, looking for the final click, and he's not going to get it. Guardian's still alive, and Guardian finds the kill. 5 rounds for Na'Vi. 4 players survive, and the money just keeps growing for the CIS team.
Oh, and this is terrifying if you're an IP. They're going to go for a bit of a switch up, having the AWP on Forrest, and yeah, the crowd, or actually a double up. Get right also picking up one. And this is interesting. I don't know if this is sort of desperation, but NIP know they have to change something, and it has to be right now.
We've seen Get Right. I mean, he can be capable with the AWP. It used to be that when we saw Get Right go for the op, it was just like, okay, Nip are out of options. And well, seems like that's exactly where Nip find themselves now. So early on in this map, they're willing to go for the Hail Mary kind of play. Nice connector smoke going to go ahead and block things off. Edward tries to move in, but Freiburg gets the shot, and Freiburg with the double spray. That's the kind of play that's going to make the difference here for NIP.
And now they got another 5-on-3. They just had that. Now it's a 5-on-2. And again, they should be winning these rounds. They should have been winning the last one as well. There's Threat coming into it, and Seized will actually win that fight in spite of being in a bit of a strange angle there. But it still should be no problem for them to sort of lock Na'Vi out of the round like this.
Oh no, for Freiburg. He's just looking for Seized, and Seized
you've got to wonder why.
Perfectly baits that in.
Well, you've got to wonder why Freiburg was feeling any inclination to try and do that, because now we've gone from a 5-on-2 into a 3-on-2, and there's so much time still left. So NIP, they've got Exist sneaking around back, and that might definitely help them soon. Guardian hoping for one opening. Get Right is actually sneaking back in as well. This could be really, really awkward soon. Seized is not going to be spottable just yet. Exist here. Timing is everything. Get Right going to win the first fight. There, and Seized going down. So NIP picking up the round in spite of some questionable decisions there. They do make it work.
They still keep it cool, and all off the back of Freiburg and the initial 2 kills to start things off. That's the kind of, once again, there's a similar situation that we had on Inferno, where it was an individual play that got the ball rolling a bit for NIP, started to get them into the game and get that confidence back. Once again, NIP are able to do it, and Freiburg, he's going to be the man to make it happen. 1 round now on the board for NIP, but this is the crucial one, Anders. I mean, at least they keep 3 players alive, but still, that doesn't mean that they have a whole lot of money in the bank for NIP. If they lose this one...
And NIP have 3 AWPs picked up, just to point this out, and Exist is holding one of them as well. I think this is too far. This is too much madness, unless you think any of these players are going to be good enough to best Guardian, and I don't think even Nip could think that. So right now, it is going to be a 1-on-4 with Get Right already losing the first fight here. Exist is trying to creep in with the AWP. Forrest actually going to be taking out Guardian. That's an important refrag. Seized taking the fight to Threat, just realizing that was not a strong position to be in, and now things are looking very dark.
They aren't even touching the A site, Na'Vi. They just keep going B. They keep putting the pressure over here. They realize this is where Threat's playing from, and he's not able to stand up to it. Seized is going to catch out Forrest as he rotates in, and now Freiburg, he's in a tight spot. 1v4, holding the angle. Bomb is up in B apartments. He at least has that going for him. There's still a minute left on this clock. And Na'Vi right now are wondering, hey, Seized, are you able to actually get back there, pick up the bomb, and run it over to A site where we actually have bomb control, or bomb site control?
Now, I would say I was skeptical when I saw Get Right picking up the AWP. I thought that this is already sort of at a point where I'm thinking, this is weird. Now, when I see 3 AWPs, that's where I start to get really nervous, because that makes me think that what NIP are essentially signaling is that we really don't have any like solid sort of CT side strats here, anything that we can really pull out that we feel very confident in. So let's just try sort of a Hail Mary here and see what happens. And this is probably the worst possible start to Mirage that you could imagine. You invest into a double orb. You do save one orb in the following round, but you get instantly economically reset. 6-1 being the scoreline.
Yeah, 9-0-1 for Seized, who's just going ham over there on that B side, round after round. They just cannot hang with him on NIP side. And I am convinced that he is just intentionally hunting down Threat now. You get the kill on the Get Right, you know that's one of the other B players down. Who's left? Threat. Seized, he didn't even care if a smoke was down. He just jumped at Threat. But it does look like enough is enough, and NIP, they decided to tap out for a moment. 2-minute break coming in here for them. This is their tactical timeout in use. And it is going to go into a weird sort of buy if they do it. I mean, they just don't have enough money for a buy. It has to be an eco. So this is really just all about Nip trying to slow things down, slow the pace down, try and catch a breather here.
But you get a good shot of the crowd in here. Still a bit early in Columbus, Ohio here, but everyone's been showing up. Started filling up first with the VIP tickets, and then everybody else got let in as well. And yeah, people have been quick to get the best seats in the house.
I love it. We're starting to get up to that third tier as well. The nosebleed section. Well, we've got obviously a lot of money here for Na'Vi, no doubt about it. And with the current form, there we get some very excited Na'Vi fans. It's a good job. Yeah, I mean, they bought the right flag for this tournament. The way that Na'Vi are looking right now, they could be waving that for quite a while. I'm still waiting to see the Fnatic flag getting waved around somewhere, because I've seen a Brazilian flag. Now we've seen a Na'Vi flag. Where's the Fnatic flag? That's what needs to happen next. The top three.
I can't remember if I've ever seen a Fnatic flag. I've certainly seen Fnatic T-shirts.
Yeah.
So you know, that certainly there are a couple of supporters out there.
There've been some jerseys, but at this point it's like you just roll out. You know those like football matches where they just roll out the flag that's like actually 30 meters long, wide, just goes completely down the phase. I mean that's what needs to happen here.
And obviously, I mean, and Khan is here.
He is here.
So I ran into him yesterday, just flown in. Which he does for I think almost every sort of larger Fnatic tournament. So, you know, apart from doing all sorts of stuff in the organization, he's a very hardworking man.
The man's a machine.
Yeah.
No idea how he handles that much travel. I think he was on the road like 200 days or something last year. I thought I heard that. Just insane. It means most of your year.
I think I was on the road.
I think so, yeah.
All right, but we are going to head into the 8th round here, the tactical timeout that NIP just took to maybe even just try and get themselves mentally a little bit reset. They did take it into an eco round, which you always wonder about that because chances are they're going to get steamrolled in this round. So, you know, whatever sort of mental boost you got from talking to each other, is it going to immediately suffer a bit of a break here? Well, that's a good start for us, picking up that kill. Friberg with one more. Oh, Na'Vi, what's happening here? Threat picking up a kill on Edward as well, and Flamey trying to see if he could get a little bit back here. He knows Threat is in the corner and has him isolated to get the kill. So still a 2-on-3. It's definitely not done yet for NIP. But, I mean, if you're going to do that, then might just be enough.
And Seized is currently looking for the way out right now. They need to get the information. Friberg just dancing on the edge of the smoke. He gets spotted by Flamey, so there's one of the players. Friberg decides to step out, and he's the one who has the AK. He needs to hand that over to Exist. Let Exist actually carry that. Just because he has a little bit more HP for the fight that's about to come, as Seized is working his way through the apartments. And Get Right, he's thinking mid. He's thinking we can maybe get the backstab in. These guys are just holed up in pit with Flamey, the pair of them together, taking their time with it. Friberg just continues to drop lower and lower, and finally he decides to back off, and he actually hands that gun over to Exist.
This is actually a really mad choice for Na'Vi, isn't it? Because you're playing a 2v3, you don't want to split up your forces, but that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to get the bomb down here, and Nip, how long before Nip realized that it's not in the bomb site? Seized hasn't planted yet. Get Right coming up from behind.
Wow.
That's a stunning headshot to shut down Flamey. And now they are going to know they do not have a kit, and the distance for them to run is actually the closest, which is Friberg. Even he is going to have 11 seconds to get there. The remainder of the force is even further away. And without a kit, that's going to really make it interesting. They're going to have to spend a lot of time here.
This is tough for Seized. He misses his Molotov, so now he has to worry about that angle as well, but nobody's coming short, so he's not going to be able to get a free pick. They should be facing him together as soon as they get the info. And there it is. Get Right steps out, but Exist is there with the AK to save the day. And a huge eco round win coming in for NIP. This could turn the tide. This will make them a lot of money. They're going to have a full buy in the next round that will make all the difference. But this is what I'm talking about. Na'Vi underestimating their opponents. Clearly, they were just running all over the place in that round. It just completely fell apart based off of the initial frag coming in. I believe that was Forrest who managed to duel with Guardian and win with the P250. And then Na'Vi just, instead of hunkering down and waiting to see what Nip do, they just run in one at a time. And that's exactly what Nip want.
Yeah, that should have been a much better round for Na'Vi, but they didn't seem to be able to stop it. You know, once the initial frag happened, the rest sort of felt motivated to try and take even more fights instead of maybe just slowing it down. Now they wanted to run a bit there. Edward just managing to pause himself for a bit, but the follow-up grenade will at least tag him up as Na'Vi setting up for what might be sort of a standard execute onto the bomb site here. Exist, ready and waiting, shutting down Edward. Mora coming through, but he can't get the follow-up kill. Flamey will be in charge of that. They line up, and Freiburg knocking me out. Both of them are headshots, and Threat has gone down. In the meantime, Zeus will open up one more in the bomb site as Forrest dies, and it's all on Get right here. 1 versus 2. He tries for the pre-fire, has a grenade out. He's trapped in the corner, and he can't make it out. The Flames are going to claim him, and Get right goes down to Seized, who ends up with a triple, and 13-0-2 as a scoreline here.
And you can see the clear frustration. There was a time when Get Right, he would eat those clutches alive. His percentage in the 1v2 situations was so high. But now, because they won that eco, yes, they had a little bit. They had the money in the last round, but it's only Freiburg sitting with any kind of money whatsoever right now on NIP. So it's going to be a round of eco for them yet again. They just constantly keep getting their economy reset by Na'Vi. Na'Vi couldn't ask for a better situation at this point. And this time around, I doubt they're going to be making the same mistakes. They're getting that buddy system together. It's only the one man lurking right now on the other side of the map. And that's Flamey. He's playing an angle that should be easily defensible for him.
Seized might be walking into a bit of a stack here, but how soon is he going to realize it? Even if he goes down, and Freiburg with a really good pistol shot there. I mean, it's all good fun and games for NIP to win or at least do damage in these rounds, but you're right, when they keep getting their money reset, it really won't make a difference in the long run. 7 rounds, I think it's already past the point where Na'Vi feels safe and confident, so anything on top that Na'Vi get right now is just all going to be gravy. 4 versus 4 right here. They did steal an AK on Get Right.
Yeah, getting up into apartments. That was Seized. Donated. Oh no, the nade, Guardian! Gets out just in time. That could have been awkward. Did he spot Exist in the corner there? Doesn't look like it. He's looking for the wallbang, but it's not going to happen. And Get Right, he uses that picked up AK to take out Zeus. Flamey, however, will find Forrest lurking in pit. And with 40 seconds left, this is cutting it a bit close here for Na'Vi. They get a little bit of information there with Edward, but he's so low on HP after that duel with Freiburg that it's just not going to happen for him here alone on the B site. And Get Right, in the meantime, takes out Flamey. Na'Vi running low here. Guardian is now going to have to rotate in, and he's going to have to do the most of the work.
Somehow NIP are turning it in their favor. Threats here, and he can hear them running through. Even that's just good information. Rotation is coming over as well. Exist with the quite extended spray there, and he's going to get a follow-up kill. If he had got killed in the window, that wouldn't have been possible. Now it's going to be 3-7. NIP winning 2 out of their 3 rounds just based on pistols.
NIP need to figure out what is going right for them in the pistols and just start doing that in the rifle rounds. And whether that is just, you know, a no-fear approach, just go in there and take our fights, take our duels, and get the job done. I mean, they played it all off of that opening pick where Seized actually tried to push into that stack. And off of that, Get Right then used the AK that he had picked up to actually get another kill. That's exactly how it's supposed to go. When you're able to get that first pick on the team that actually bought up, you get that rifle and then you put it to use. This time around, actually, complete change of pace coming out here from Na'Vi. Not wasting any time at all. It's Guardian hungrily looking for that entry frag, and he's just going to power right through. No time wasted at all.
We've got to be careful. They must be able to hear the scoping going on as well, so the follow-up Molotov will finally force him back a little bit. Flamey also checking out apartments on the other side of the map just to make sure that, that they're not getting pushed too much here. Because I think you're right. I think NIP might want to try and see if they could up the aggression a bit. Take some of that map control away from Na'Vi. You can tell that the money for the terrorist side is not exactly great either, as we've got 2 people down on tech lines and Galil in play on Flamey. Now we just want to keep up the pressure. They know that if it's been going the way it has so far, they could just reset NIP again, and the Swedes won't ever have a chance to get back into this game. Well, Zeus looking for threat. Going to be a follow-up Molotov, see if they can force him out. He's actually going to go the other way here, trying to see if he can maybe just cheat them a little bit. But the remainder of the Na'Vi force right now setting up for a B push. And Get Right, he had the angle, takes down Guardian. It looked like he was about to give up what was almost a free kill there. Spray comes through. They are getting closer here. And backup is rotating in for NIP as well. Edward and Flamey with 2 fantastic returns. And now Na'Vi, they actually have a very good shot at doing this. Seized to pick up the AWP as well. And he can use that rifle threat. He's close, but they need a frag, and they need one quick, and Forrest is going to give it to them. There's the one shot coming through. Xyz sneaking on into the ladder room, and that's going to be it. Forrest, the knockout one. He goes for the triple, and he's going to get it on Zeus. So 4-7. Some unlikely rounds being won by NIP here.
Yeah, but they're playing great now. They're actually playing as a team, finding those individual picks that are coming through. Forrest with the triple, yes, but Xyz, the lurk actually pays off versus Seized. And Getright starting it all off once again with the kill. I mean, this is now coming together here for NIP, and it's actually going to put Na'Vi, despite that bomb plant, into a bit of a tight spot as far as the money is concerned. Finally, NIP succeed in putting them on a full eco. And so this is now NIP's time to shine. If they can just completely annihilate this eco round, keep 4 players alive at least, then they'll have a great economy going forward. And it's going to be up to Na'Vi to really struggle in trying to get things going again in this first half.
Forrest opening middle. Got to be careful he doesn't get caught from underpass. He will have threat on the other side, but again, if they get too close here with all these pistols and he misses a shot, which he won't for the first time there, that's going to be good. We really, really don't want to be rushed down in a round like this.
Oh, shots, threat. Careful, don't overextend, don't give them anything. Seized spots him. The threat chooses to actually go for the re-peek against the Deagle. That's risky business. If he hits that headshot, you're gone, you're done, and that's an opening on the B site. But Na'Vi off the mid control, they're beginning to play it. Edward, he finally wins a duel versus Forrest up in connector. It's been, I mean, Forrest and Freiburg have been dominating that part of the map so far.
Bit of a jump.
Interesting.
Making a lot of noise. So if someone was on the other side, they definitely know that that they were boosting on the other side of the wall there. Edward, I think maybe just if they try and push B and he's left in this position, then that's going to be really tough for the retake unless they find out where he is, because suddenly they have to worry about that. Threat's position, though, is fantastic right now. He's going to be pushing in here and drops the bomb on Seized with 30 seconds left. Getright winning the fight. So whatever plan and whatever part Edward had to play, it's not going to come to fruition here. It's going to be all on Flamey, trying to see if he could do a bit more damage. I don't think he can win the round from this point. So, hey, NIP, but they're starting to put something. There's going to be a third round in a row here for them at least.
Got mounting pressure here on Na'Vi. Actually step forward and get this job done. 8 seconds left, and Flamey, he has to die. That's exactly what he's looking for. He does not want to live throughout this round. And once that clock ticks over to 0, he gets no money at the end of the round. And then when the round, you know, the whole point is you kind of want to die, make the money for the next round so you can buy a rifle. Living would be a bit of a problem. And he's got a full buy coming into this one. Edward should have a decent enough economy to go for the buy, although he has to skimp on the Kevlar, so that's not going to help. But he gets the nades, and Guardian, most importantly, has that AWP. Last time around, Force was able to win the duel versus Guardian in mid, and so let's see if they can actually pull it off again, because once again, Guardian heading into mid, looking to get that early mid control set up here for Na'Vi.
Forrest is on the other side and actually looked like he wanted to take that fight a little bit. Now it's Edward instead. The smoke is going to go up. And probably going to be a couple of flashbangs to follow up here, but not flashed Forrest, and he catches Guardian. Wow, what a pick early on. Seized wants to walk into it here. The Molotov, it's going to fail just a little bit here. Seized trying to make his way out. Forrest still holding that very close angle, and this is scary, and Seized just finding the perfect timing. Flashed in by a teammate as well. It's going to bring it back into a 4-on-4. And NIP, they really do like fighting even when they have the advantage.
Now, I mean, oh, this flash perfectly done. Freiburg, what? The free kill, and Seized hits the headshot. No.
I don't even know. That was such a great setup as well.
It was perfect.
Xyz and Getright are still on this A-bomb side, and Flamey's trying to walk in. That's a nice knockout blow. Xyz going to be taking out Flamey. Zeus wants to see if he can follow up on it, and he will be able to do just that. And Getright here. He spots one guy falling back here, but now it's only 40 seconds left. He's trapped in Sandwich, and he's going to go down. Zeus going to be able to get the kill. Threat, I mean, if Getright has still been alive, then this position from Threat, this follow-up would have been epic, but now it's a 1-on-3 here for the coach-turned-player, and this is a critical round. He's going to be able to stop Zeus from putting the bomb down. That's a fantastic start. 20 seconds now left. He goes back for a bit of a flash, but now they got the bomb. They can plant it in safety, so he's going to have to go for the full fight and the defuse. There's no doubt about it. Na'Vi, they should have a clear advantage right now. Threat, can he really do this? He's looking for the first shot here. Seized is low on health, but Edward is on the other side. Going to be one flash to go up. They're going to double up on it. There's the one kill. Seized now inside the bomb site. Threat trying to jump up. Oh, no! I think that was a reload right as Seized shows himself. And that will make it another round for Na'Vi. Here's a nice attempt from Threat. Definitely not on him that round went south, but 8-5. And the 14th round is coming up here, and Na'Vi, I feel like Nip keep doing this to us where they show us a couple of rounds where we think, all right, you know, some good Counter-Strike here. And then Na'Vi just come back into it.
Yeah, then it comes down to the individual performance. And the point that was made on the analyst desk going into this is just that across the board, Na'Vi, they have better aimers right now, better players in the clutch. We're just not seeing that from NIP when it counts most. Sees, though, he's going to flash his way. He gets blocked a little bit. He realizes, wait a second, that took just a little bit too long to get through that smoke. Freiberg not going to get the kill in the end. So close, and Edward, no fear from him, charges forward, takes out Forrest, and now the A site is under Na'Vi control. Although Get Right, he does try to have an impact. He does try to make the difference. It's not going to be good enough, and that leaves Exist in a 1v4. Gets the spray, but gives away his position going for it, and Flamey will find the headshot through the smoke. Huge lead now for Na'Vi. And we're going into the 15th round, the last round of this first half, and NIP are broke. They have nothing to work with here.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, Sandler, because they've won 2 out of 3 rounds doing
Fair
this.
enough.
So, you know, might actually be better for them at this point just to go with pistol armor. Why not? They got a couple of smokes and, you know, a little bit to work with here. But statistically, this isn't half bad for NIP right now.
Let's see, I mean, a little bit of an attempted stack. No, it's straight up normal play coming out here from NIP. Once again, Threat going on to short, so we'll see if Guardian finds him later on in this. And Forrest going to have that presence in mid. Exist is the one playing close to connector this time around for NIP. So they're changing up their positions here. NIP showing a bit of versatility. But they're just waiting. And Na'Vi, same thing. Still a little bit split up, Na'Vi, but Guardian hits a shot on Threat, and that's going to start them off strong.
Not exactly how the other pistol rounds or the other eco rounds went. Let's see if it's going to make a difference here. Bit of a Molotov up, and also smoking the CT side of connector, so that's going to give some space for C's to work with here. And Forrest, you could tell he's up there in the window. He really wants to go and take the peek, but it's not so easy. Exist flashed through, but C's just wasn't flashed, so that made no difference at all. Su's going to be getting the kill on Get Right, and obviously this is falling apart here. Na'Vi cruising towards a 10-5 first half. They've been playing very, very well in this quarterfinals already, and it doesn't seem to end anytime soon. It's going to be Flamey with the last kill as a team ace to close out this first half of the second map. And Na'Vi well en route to a semifinals.
But you have to appreciate it, right, Anders? A little bit of a nod there from Exist, you know, to the home crowd. MLG went for the 360 spin before trying to get the dig. I'll take it. I'll take it. It was nice, Exist. It was a good attempt.
Why not? I mean, when you're this far behind, I don't know. I don't know what kind of talk NIP could have internally in the break here to try and sort of change this around. Again, it's frustrating because there was sort of in the middle of the match where the sort of distribution was like 5 rounds for NIP and 2 for Na'Vi. You know, if they can get into that sort of rhythm early on, right? If the match starts with a 5-2 in favor of NIP, then yeah, maybe it'd be something interesting. But this game starts with Na'Vi taking 5 rounds in a row, and then NIP winning 1 round and gets reset. You don't really need to know anything else. When that happens, you know, it's going to take just more than a miracle to get back in the game.
That's how cutthroat Mirage can be, because it's still a very CT-sided map. Much more so. I mean, right now, this scoreline is not indicative. You know, it's not usually what we see here. But this is what can happen if you actually mess up that first big buy round. You lose the pistol, you lose the first buy round, you're so far behind at that point. It's just an uphill struggle the entire way through.
I would put it this way, that if the scores had been reversed and NIP had got 10 rounds, Na'Vi had got 5, I would still say Na'Vi win this map. I think they're just that good on the CT side.
They needed 11-4, really.
Yes,
NIP.
I think it had to be sort of an 11-4 scoreline.
Now, the thing is, though, Mirage, it is a map that you can come up with some truly, you know, interesting strats. Threat, he showed us what he was capable of yesterday on Cobblestone, coming up with, you know, an innovative smoke strat that allowed for NIP to take a map off of Mouse in really just clear-cut fashion. I mean, we just have to see if they're going to be able to come up with anything that can surprise Na'Vi on this map. It's all on NIP now to just land this first pistol, because if they can control the pace, if they can set it up so that they just run into Na'Vi, try and rock that confidence at the beginning of the second half, NIP can still, you know, have a chance. It's just going to come down to this pistol. And so far, NIP have struggled somewhat with these pistol rounds. So let's see if they can turn it around here when it's all on the line. Na'Vi, 10 rounds on the CT side to start them off. NIP, are they going to go? They do not choose to go for the Raid Boss build. They don't give the Tech 9 over to Get Right. Instead, it's Exist going for the smoke and flash along with the P250. So single smoke picked up for NIP. We have to see where they want to use it.
And you don't really need us to say that this is going to be a sort of a must-win round here. NIP's tournament life might very well hang in the balance of this one round. And a little bit of an aggression coming out here for Na'Vi. They've actually gone for a bit of a boost in middle, and while in the meantime NIP are setting up for what looks like an A attack. So they need a good opening frag as well as the bomb down. Then we can start talking about it. Flamey trying to defend, but that smoke is going to make his life just a little bit miserable. Forest moving on up, and Threat has already gone down. That was Guardian hitting a headshot, but the bomb is being planted as NIP are slowly suffering more and more casualties here. Flamey picking up one more kill. Guardian looking for the shot. Forest out in the opening. He needs to get back and stay safe somewhere, but he just can't fall back. Na'Vi, they have him cornered, and that's going to be Forest going down. Get right. I mean, it's a good idea. Maybe if everyone else was alive, he could come in here and prevent the defuse, but it's not going to happen. Na'Vi, they will win the round, and that is going to be it. 11-5. Seized. Rocking a scary and stunning 22 kills. He's only died 6 times in 16 rounds.
Yeah. Utter dominance from him. And that's, I mean, it's good to bring attention to himself as well in this fashion, just because, you know, the big stars, Guardian and Flamey, they get a lot of the talk, right? But Seized, he's so confident. He's shown that over the past several months now that Na'Vi, you know, throughout this rise of Na'Vi towards the top of the food chain, Seized is definitely a man you can count on for them. Just another tool, and he can even go for the AWP as well. So he's just a versatile player coming to the fore here in a map that matters. And well, now NIP, what can they hope to achieve here? They get the bomb plant at least, so that means that they'll be on P250s in this round, trying to save money for the first buy round. But Zeus is about to dunk this nade. Oh no, it body blocks on him as well. Terrific damage coming in, and Na'Vi just wiping Nip out. Although Get Right does get the drop on Zeus, it's not enough. And Na'Vi will be able to survive with 3 players at the end of the round, keeping both rifles alive, and that's all they really care about. Keep the M4s in play. SMGs, will sack them all day. It's not a problem.
That grenade might as well have been a Claymore mine at that point in time. They just practically stepped on it. It's going to be 5-12 here, and the 18th round is coming up. We've got 4 AKs and 1 single Galil there on Threat. A lot of smokes here, which is definitely pivotal when you're playing Mirage, especially when you go for that A bomb side. This is the problem with attacking A on Mirage, is that you can definitely put smokes up, get in and get the bomb down, but the afterplant situation is very difficult. It's not like on a lot of the other maps where the majority of the fight has to happen before the bomb plant. On Mirage, you're going to have a hard time holding on, and especially against a team like Na'Vi, they're excellent at retaking the A bomb site. So NIP, they need smokes to get in, they need smokes to keep Na'Vi out afterwards, and you only have 5, so the math is not looking too good unless you're very good at what you're doing.
Well, they're putting up a semblance of a fight here in mid. NIP getting control of the situation, but then Flamey right on the edge is going to peek into connector and win the duel straight up versus Exist. No possible reply, nobody there to refrag. They're a little bit too split up, and Zeus from the window is going to drop Threat down to 10 HP. So NIP once again getting whittled down here at the beginning of the round. And they aren't even close to getting onto a bomb site.
Even just on sort of a micro level, you're seeing these sort of fights, right? Why doesn't Exist win that fight? He's got the AK, he's even got the angle. It's Flamey that has to be the one to sort of crouch into. Do you think, you know, 9 times out of 10, Exist just straight wins that fight with taking almost no damage? But this has been the story almost of both on Inferno as well. Na'Vi just seem to be much better at getting these individual duels, and that obviously has a huge impact. Now, Seized is going to be close here. They're right on the other side. Edward picks up one, and Seized getting a kill and then falling back with time to reload as well. They're going to corner him, but it is way too late. And the rotation from Na'Vi is also very powerful here. NIP, I mean, when you only got 3 people left, there's not much you could do to sort of throw any kind of a fake, but Na'Vi just read them so well at the moment. This is looking like sort of a championship team here that we're witnessing.
This is looking like an NIP that need to force buy. They need to go for a big buy here. They can't let Na'Vi get up to 14 rounds when they're this far behind. They need to be able to give up 1 round at least later on in this half. But they're electing to go for it. They're saying, okay, we'll go for the other round of eco, try and get some rifles on the board in the next round and see what we can do. But this is looking very good here for Na'Vi so far. They have the full buy going into it. Dunk nade onto Threat at the top of mid. Edward looking for a bit of the peek. He's going to spot the man out, but the flash forces him back. So something working out there for Threat at least. But then there's the spot from Seized, and it's a safe peek as well. Really hard to hit that shot when he's jumping at that angle. So NIP at this point, nothing works. Freiburg just obliterated, didn't even see the guy.
And Seized didn't see him either. He just simply pre-fired through the smoke there. It's just a beautiful angle, isn't it? And it shows you what kind of level he's on. He's so tuned into the game right now, it doesn't even matter. Edward is going to go down to Forest. Seized is still in this site, hasn't even reloaded from the first fight, and he's going to get one more headshot in here. NIP looking scared up in apartments because Seized has turned into an absolute monster right here, and he's going to get the third kill because why not? It's Get right now all alone in a 1-on-4. Seized looking for the jump shots. He is just on point for this map, and NIP, they haven't been able to touch him. It's going to be Guardian to get the last kill, and that's 14-5. Navi 2 rounds away from a semifinals.
You know, from the semifinals, and just clear-cut fashion for them. Exactly what we expect to see out of Navi, in all honesty. They're just so good right now. And NIP just don't quite have the level to hang with them. It is that Navi semifinal coming up. And while NIP, this round, they actually get the nades to go forward. They actually have the Molotovs to work with. Full complement of nades. No AWP here either. So Forest.
If you look at the scoreboard, we've got Guardian bottom fragging and Navi still absolutely wrecking NIP. I mean, I think that says it all. There was never going to be a chance that they could have competed here, not when Navi are in this mood. It is going to be a pivotal round here, 20th round coming up, and Guardian gets caught out actually, and Get Right able to crouch in and get that kill on him. So that's a really good start, and Get Right following up, actually stealing the AWP of Guardian. Maybe it has some magic powers in it. Edward certainly has fallen to it, and now Get Right's going to go down to Seized, who is still in play.
Bringing it back. Now just a one-man lead for NIP. They use a lot of their utility so far, though, but they still have a couple of players with some smokes and a handful of flashes to work with, and that means they want to go towards that A site. And Navi right now, they're banking on that. They've got that extra man there. 2 players on the A site so far, and they're just holding. Zeus is the one who's kind of scouting around, hoping to catch somebody out here for NIP. But he realizes nobody in connector. Okay, check. Now do I take a peek at top mid? Yes, I do. And he's just hoping to find something, anything to go off of here. But right now, he's kind of out of position. It's going to be a little scary for him once this push comes in for NIP. A lot of this is going to fall to Flamey, who's holding in CT, especially now that Zeus is dead from the lurk from Exist.
Flamey's a terrific player, and we haven't been allowed to see too much of him just because Cease has been outshining on this map, but we'll see if he can turn the tide here, getting the first spray in, not quite connecting enough to get the kill. There is the follow-up. Mad spray through the smoke as Forrest is going to be going down, and Seized showing up. He's swapped out for an AWP. Is that really going to make a difference? NIP, they have Exist in the middle. There's the Deagle in play, and actually, oh, he hits that headshot regardless. He didn't even notice him for the first couple of seconds. Now it's a 2-on-2, and we said this already. It's hard to defend this bomb site. Thread doing a good job getting the first kill in, though. Now it's a 1-on-2. Seized, making the jump over shot, not connecting. He's trapped in this corner. He gets the first kill. He can't get the quad. That was a triple. Freiburg gonna just stop it. And it's still just 6-14.
Seized, throw away the op and just stay on the Deagle, man. That's way too scary. Imagine if Flamey doesn't run through the Molotov there, doesn't take that Molotov damage, and actually is able to play with Seized, plays just a little bit more patiently by triple or something along those lines. It could have been something different there, but Navi, of course, they're just feeling like they've got everything going their way. They want to close this match, and so they're playing aggressive. They're really trying to take the fight to NIP. NIP, though, that last gasp, they're still in this, just barely. The plan works. They ate that round of Vico to win that key rifle round, and they pull it off. So the score is 6 rounds now for NIP, 14 for Navi. But now it's all in NIP, and they're just going to rush right in. They're like, Seized, if you want to go for the op, we're just going to throw a whole bunch of rifles at you. But Edward could make the difference. He's got the backstab position here. Could actually come through. Get right. Will turn in time, but loses the duel regardless. And so it is that 4-on-4 retake scenario now coming through.
Freiburg taking the secondary fight. Edward is kind of trapped in here. He's sandwiched in, and his team needs him to sort of open up the bomb site, so someone has to make a move. Zeus is also flanking Freiburg's flank. I don't even know what this is, some sort of flank inception going on. And Freiburg turning around, ready for it, and actually sees Zeus coming. Did he hear him running in middle? Otherwise, I have no idea how he could have possibly guessed that, because I mean, Edward was already doing the flank, so that's a little bit mad. Flamey, the last man left, he gets the one, he gets a double as well, but he's got so little HP, it might not be worth it. Yeah, he's going to pick up the AWP and run away. That's going to make it 7 rounds, and NIP climbing up to half the round score of Navi. Still miles and miles and miles away.
I'm curious if Navi actually go for the force buy off of this. Oh. Never mind. Never mind. I'm busy looking at the scoreboard, looking at the money. And he isn't even able to save that AWP. Had he saved that AWP, Navi could have gone for the force in that sort of scenario. They could have handed that over to Guardian, and they could have made the play. But instead, oh, buddy. Okay, no. It's just Zeus going for head. He actually invests just a little bit of money with that Mag 7.
You know, you could probably caption that moment when Seized picks, sort of peeks the whole way, and there's 3 people waiting for, like, oh, damn. You know?
Apex knows.
Yeah, Apex knows for sure. Zeus going to be going down early on here. A bit of an attempted mag 7 buy. Flamey with the follow-up C-set 75, and you got to be careful. Xisto doing a good job crouching under the angle there. Otherwise, that gun, even with just the 12 bullets in, could get a couple of kills and sees that's 30 on him in just 22 rounds. He is a monster right now. Finally, they're going to be able to take care of him and Edward. In a 1-on-3 that they, NIP, even if they tried, they shouldn't be able to lose this round.
Yeah, it shouldn't be possible for Edward to come in here. The Triangle of Doom is set up on this site. And so Edward, he's just hoping for a little deke action. If he can pick up one more kill here, it's going to force NIP into a bit of an awkward spot as far as the economy is concerned. Exist, do not peek. You have so low HP. Just stay alive. But yeah, that's incredible from Seized. 30 to 10, or 30 and 10. That's a nuts scoreline to have in a quarterfinal match here. Exist, peekaboo. Exist hunts. I don't understand. I guess they're just thinking, well, as long as we have the money to buy, whatever, but
I think instead, I think it's also a way of trying to keep your own confidence up. You know, you don't want to sort of try and respect someone only as you want to try and see if you can't just keep yourself believing in this. I mean, I'm just guessing at this point, but that'd be my thinking. Exist and Forest are top fragging right now with 16 kills each on the NIP team, and everybody else is pretty close by. Freiburg get right with 11, Threat with 8, so nobody's sort of horribly letting the team down right now, which was the case on Inferno. Threat and Get Right definitely weren't doing very, very well on that map, but 14 to 8 is the scoreline here. And there's a long, long road ahead of the Swedish team right now.
Guardian right now, he gets hard countered in mid, getting that timing down for the Molotov into connector and the smoke at top short. So no real way for him to have an impact out in mid, at least for now. It kind of slows things down here for Na'Vi because they really want him to find that opening early on, get that pick and challenge NIP for mid control. Instead, it's going to have to be a bit of a delayed affair, rather. And NIP, now they should be feeling pretty good about themselves because they've got Exist moving up from underpass. He's going to be able to start getting eyes. They can get that crossfire established. And now they actually have options. It could be a split onto A or the B play through short. But they're all just hoping to be able to just actually catch Guardian getting over-aggressive. That's the game plan for NIP at this point. They want to find somebody out of position and get the punish in.
But now they're not playing into that. They're playing very defensively right here. And finally, NIP feel like, well, we've got to make a move at some point here. 50 seconds on the clock, and Edward going to win the fight versus Freiburg, which is a very important kill there coming through. Guardian covering the angle all the way into the window room. The bomb is making its way up, and there's still 2 people on the bomb side here for Na'Vi. They're going to have a hard time getting back up, but maybe they won't even need it. Flamey going to take down Exist, and now it's a good fight coming through. Second kill as well. Forest finally shutting him down, but look who's hiding in the corner. It's Zeus. He hasn't shown himself. They probably won't expect him. Guardian getting a kill as well, and it's all on Get Right and Zeus coming up in the last second. They had no clue here. They thought they'd taken the bomb site out with that kill on Flamey. That's going to make it match and map point here. Na'Vi a round away from the semifinals, and NIP again in a position where they need to win 7 rounds in a row here to get into overtime and then take the win.
You got the chant going. I think Zeus, not sure if he thought that was match point and that was it was over, because he just like raises his hands up, knocks his headset off. It's like so hyped. It's like, wait, what? We still got to play? Oh, okay. Tech9's Force coming in here from NIP. Handful of nades to work with. And while it's going to be the straight A execute coming out from them, it looks like. The bomb is over there. They're not wasting any time. Get Right, hoping that somebody's getting greedy, trying to push him at top mid. And Guardian will take a little damage because of it. But now the push begins here for NIP, and they're just looking to just slam into the defense here and hope that they can break it.
I mean, it's not going to be easy. Edward does look the wrong way, so Get Right going to be able to pick up that kill, but still a lot of presence here on the bomb side for Freiburg with a good follow-up there. Flamey going to be going down. Zeus again hiding in that corner that he was last time. He really wants to deny that plant, but the smoke's just preventing it. Oh, what? Mid-air shot from Guardian takes Threat out of the sky, and it's going to be Seized showing up. He gets a kill before he goes down. Zeus in the back line is going to be dropped, and now all on Guardian here. 1-on-3. They're on top of him, literally, and that is going to be 9 to 15. That resets Na'Vi quite a bit there. Money, it's not as low as it could be. They'll be able to buy in the next round, but you know what, Semler, I'm not going to buy in this time. NIP, they're trying to sell us this idea that, you know, maybe, you know, not this time. I just want NIP to throw away those rifles right now. There's a little wall over there. Just chuck them over and stay on the Tech-9s. Because it's working when they have the Tech-9s. It's actually, they lose the fear. They lose whatever it is that's holding them back when they have the rifles. When they have the Tech-9s, just run and gun, get in their face, all-out aggression. That's what NIP need right now to rock Na'Vi. Guardian in the middle, random shot coming through, but Forrest going to be sneaking out of that smoke to get the kill. That actually looked just a bit worrying for a moment. And Na'Vi they don't have any armor, so Nip shouldn't be losing around like this. This should be one of those rounds where they could keep a tight lid on. Flamey is down on catwalk, and he's looking up into apartments where Exist is sneaking in behind here, so definitely a chance for a good deagle shot if they continue to sort of crouch in like that.
I like how this is also back to fundamentals here for NIP. You've got the money, you have the nades, use them. Even if you know your opponents don't have rifles, don't try and be stingy, don't try and hold on to it. Make sure you clear out those angles, make your life easier. And that's perfectly done by NIP. All 5 players alive as they get onto the B site for the plant. They have control of short as well, so an easy plant. Nice and open for the for the now defending terrorist side. Zeus will not get the Juan Dig, but Edward, neither will he. Exist is there to save the day. So a dominant round coming out from NIP. That's exactly how an anti-eco is supposed to go. Now the question is whether Na'Vi, they will have enough money for the full, or will it... Man, they're right on the edge. It should be a quasi, and then that way they can just go for the full buy in the next round where everybody can afford everything they want. Because Flamey and Zeus, they're kind of low. They're in the mid 3,000 range.
They're going to go for it.
They are going to go for it. Man, okay then.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thinking is as well, there's another 5 rounds here. Even if we're going to be going in the upcoming round, if you don't win this one, it's going to be just fine. So Guardian trying to see if he can sneak into the middle. Timing, not quite working out for him this time. You've got, I mean, I can't even imagine the amount of pressure that NIP are under right now. They know that any mistake, if they give up any entry frag right now, that could be the end of their run. And there was a flashbang to let Exist come through there. And Guardian didn't get the timing right in the middle, but he certainly got it the second time around there.
Yeah, that's all down to timing, ingrained in Guardian. And he gets the flick on to get right, point blank. And now that leaves it up to Forrest to come up with the heroic play, and he will not miss the shot. Guardian goes for the peek and actually gets punished. So a man advantage here for Na'Vi, but Nip, they're fighting back. And Forrest hoping that somebody oversteps once again here from Na'Vi, but it's just not going to happen for now. With this man advantage, Na'Vi need to not take any risks at all.
Look how scary this is. I mean, there's 4 people coming in for the retake. Threat can't even get the bomb down. Forrest, he's going to take a shot there, but it's still a 2-on-3. There's plenty of time here. Na'Vi are not under any pressure. The bomb is not planted. Forrest missing a shot, and that's dangerous when you're out in the open like that. Now the counter smokes are coming out as well. And then IP, they do need to make this 2-on-2. They need more than that. They need a space to put the bomb down. And right now they're not finding it. Now the bomb is being brought all the way back, so that means they're splitting up in a 2v3.
Making up their minds. The problem is that Zeus, he's screwing everything up right now for NIP. They don't have control of CT and they don't have control of Courtyard. So both possible bomb plant positions, they're denied to NIP. Unless they can find Zeus making a huge mistake by peeking out from connector. And Forrest is just crossing his fingers hoping. And Zeus, he's even thinking about it. Zeus has actually worked his way out. And this is going to be at the big moment. Forrest charges into CT. He's going to get overwhelmed by Edward. And now it's down to Freiberg and he goes down as well. The bomb does get planted, but there's more than enough time for the defuse to come through.
That's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Na'Vi, they make yet another semifinal. 16-10 here as they defeat NIP on 2 maps. What a run they've had. And it's only going to continue.
Perfect timing there as well. Music, just as the high 5 connects. Edward has the power over the production. Guardian does as well. But yeah, Na'Vi, they're going to be feeling good about themselves. It doesn't get much easier than that for them. NIP, it's back to the drawing board. They just couldn't get it together. It's just tragic. They lose one of their players. They have the coach to step in. Threat, he does play well, but it's just not enough for NIP to go up against one of the top 3 teams in the world right now.
I mean, but what's so frustrating is that they keep having sort of signs that they really could. You know, if this game doesn't finish 10-5, you know, on the first half, then you know, Na'Vi might still be able to pull it off. We'd have a close scoreline, right? We have a little bit closer one. So I don't know, some signs of life for NIP, but it was too late in every half, in every game, you know. They showed up just a little bit too late.
Well, there's that mental block going on with NIP right now. You can see it clearly. They were winning when they had pistols, and there's something that happens in your mind when you have the pistol. You just feel like, okay, there's less holding you back, there's less at risk, and so I can go for bigger plays. And just that little edge, whatever happens there, is what was allowing NIP to constantly win when they had the pistols. But when the rifles were in play, they just weren't able to show that same kind of determination to get the job done. So very frustrating situation there for NIP.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work that's going to have to be done, basically, trying to defeat that mindset that they have right now.
I mean, on the other hand, we saw how incredibly well Seized played at the end here. We saw a Guardian that was bottom fragging, and the team still doing extremely well in spite of that. Now, we're going to go to Paul on the stage and hear what Guardian has to say about that. How comfortable is he with his team just being powerful, even without him? Paul, please take it away.
a strange game when it happens like that. I know it's very difficult for you to come in and just hit the ground running as the first team of the day, but it all seemed to go well.
Well, the game was strange. Yeah. We started to argue even though we were winning with pretty huge score. And then, I don't know, on the first map we took time out because it was like pretty bad. We were arguing a lot. That shouldn't happen, but yeah, I would say we were the stronger team today.
Yeah, you seem to have this problem before. I remember talking to you at the last major, you all shouting at each other and arguing. You're always the one that stays calm. Why? How?
I would say I'm coming from different country with different mentality. That's why I'm different. I'm always calm. I'm trying to calm down the team, but yeah, sometimes happens. Even though we said that we will not do this before the event, it was fine until now, but we will fix it hopefully.
Okay, looking forward. Semi-finals again, yes, done it great, but there's many more goals ahead for you. I know how much you want to win the major, but you couldn't have had a worse draw. It's Astralis or Fnatic next.
Well, if we want to win a major, we have to beat Fnatic. So I want to play Fnatic. Hopefully we'll face them and hopefully we will beat them.
All right, well, best of luck. Thank you very much. Guardian is safely through with his team. Na'Vi moving on to the semi-final. Don't go anywhere, though. Lots still to come here at the MLG Major Championship.
I love my country. I'm coming from the country that made me what I am today, so I want to give something back.
He's the only player in Counter-Strike from Slovakia. He started playing Counter-Strike like 9 or 8 years old. This is the only thing important for him.
A legjobb úton halad afelé, hogy ez legyen az álmai.
Without Counter-Strike, I have no idea where will I be. I've been going for this goal for a long time, so winning at least one major this year would be a huge goal for us, and I will do everything for this.
Hát lehet úgy mondani, hogy én vagyok a Laci legnagyobb rajongója. Ha lehet, akkor Lacinak az összes mérkőzését megnézem, nem számít, ha éjjel, ha nappal van élőbe közvetítve.
My father is so involved in the CS that he might become the coach. He has to watch all games, not only our games, but he's watching the all teams. So he's like analyzing the whole game every time, and then he's saying like, you lost because of this, and it's funny.
De azért nem vagyok olyan szakember, hogy annyira az, amit én látok, én szerintem nem, hogy azt megmondom neki. De és ő, hogy hogyan fogadja, az már másik dolog. De azt is hozzáfűzöm, hogy legtöbbször nem ért egyet velem.
I know Guardian very well ever since we played together in 1.6. He always listened to me and he always advised me. If I did something wrong, he always asked why did I do this and what was my thinking, and I had to answer. And if I didn't have an answer, I knew it was bad, and if I had an answer, I know I can work on my decisions better. So he's just my mentor, and I hope he will be forever.
I had some kind of trust in him, that he can become even better than he is by playing the best players in the world. And he was smart enough to play in the top team.
I am where I am because of him, so I look up to him because he's that kind of player that I always wanted to be. Every game he play, every practice he just learn, and that's why he's the best over in the world right now.
Csapatban AVP-ként játszik, de én szerintem a csapatot minden más módon is támogassa.
My team is made of 5 different people from 3 different countries, 2 Russians, 2 Ukrainians, and me from Slovakia.
He had to adapt to everything in Russian and Ukrainian language. He's really the calmest guy from Na'Vi roster.
I never rage. The more I'm calm, the better I play. So I'm doing a lot of opportunities for my team by being confident enough to just pick and kill the player. So I'm motivated by my team in the way that their trust in me is more than everything.
Mert nagyon sokat elért arra, hogy milyen kis országból ment, és van ebben a játékban jelen, és szerintem az nagy valami, amit elért.
He likes to emphasize that it is important to play smart, it's important to play good, and he likes to play with Slovakian players. Even though we are not his level, he really tries to get these young talents to the international scene, trying to help each other.
It's important for me to bring the CSGO scene to Slovakia because I had mentors that they were trying to make a best player out of me, and I want to give something back to my country.
For me and Guardian, even though we are split up now in different teams and different countries, it is important that our winnings stay inside Slovakia, and it's like our dream to form a team that consists of all Slovakian players and try to make Slovakia proud.
Welcome back, folks. MLG's major championship here in Columbus, Ohio. We have finished our first best of three. Our first quarterfinal is in the books. It is Na'Vi fairly convincingly making their road continue towards their final. We talked about it in the pregame. You guys all predicted it. Nip was definitely giving it a go, no doubt about that. The first thing that jumps out at me on this second map, and you guys have all brought it up, Guardian is obviously the king of this team, and he has to always play good, usually, and then he's got to have some teammates around him. This tells you how good this team is. He bottom stacked. Obviously, C's played out of his mind, but technically, and I know we look at bottom stack, top stack, depends on positions, depends on the maps, but again, he was not the star necessarily of this game, and still his team does it kind of around him, which is what a great team needs. If he's not feeling it, his team steps up. Starting with you, Duncan.
Yeah, Guardian was actually fairly lackluster in this game. Many times he was just pushed out of position. He wasn't doing all the highlight clips you think of Guardian on this map. He was never in those positions, never getting those kills. There was barely any multi-round kill rounds, actually. But that's the thing about this team. Okay, yeah, they have two superstars, Guardian and Flamey, both phenomenal players. Flamey still turned up, so you've already got one piece there. And the thing with Na'Vi is they've got this dormant monster. The key thing about the great support everyone loves me, mate. The great thing about the great support players in CSGO is most of them now have actually converted from being star players before. So you've got Zipniks, you've got NBK, you've got Crims. These guys could be a star player of a team. Instead, they're just chilling at the support position. But what happens is, when you need a big game, C's just comes up and has a monster game. Took over the whole match, was the best player by far in the server. And so when you've got that kind of luxury in your back pocket, it's no wonder no one can beat Na'Vi.
And while we see these highlights, Moses, kind of your thoughts on how the match went?
It's just, Nip got out to such a slow start on that CT side. I mean, I said that was going to be the half where they could gain some rounds, at least, you know, put something on the board that would give them some life into the second half. But just starting out, what was it, 5 or 6-0 before they got on the board, that's just way too slow, especially Na'Vi on those T sides. I know Duncan always talks about Na'Vi being one of the best terror-sided teams in the world. And I mean, they just piled it on early. And even when Nip started to get back into it, you started to see him kind of, you know, build a little bit of momentum, win a couple of rounds here or there. It was just too late for them to get into the game. So Na'Vi just did a great job of, you know, keeping their foot on the pedal and just breezing through this series.
Yeah, well, I said build Guardian as the fastest gun in the West going into Mirage. Well, he played more like the town drunk in that game, Rio Bravo reference. I know you'll appreciate a bit of that. But
reference point.
Yeah, thank you. You know, this is what I was saying about C's right at the start of the broadcast. Like when he needs to go big, he can go big, and he's been doing this way more often, and it's been one of the driving forces behind this resurgent Na'Vi coming back into second place in the world. But like, what I don't want to do is take anything away from NIP.
Absolutely
because. Look, that's real talk. They're never going to win the series. This 2-0. This is the easiest one to call all weekend. Makes us look like geniuses, but this is easy. Any fan could have called what was going to happen here. The NIP had unprecedented problems coming into this. Had to play with a stand-in, a coach who's come back from studying in Japan, hasn't played for a long time, acquitted himself admirably here. Great to see the crowd give him a big pop because, you know, it's probably the last time you're going to see him play. And they managed to get into the legendary part, which, you know, they came through a difficult group. They were there for the taking. Nobody could do it. They had Flipside, they had Mouse Sports, you know, there was Luminosity. This is a tough group. And they got here, and that was mission accomplished for them, because it would have been a dark timeline if Forest and Get Right are having to qualify to come back to another major. So all NIP fans may be feeling a bit depressed right now. Hopefully they wake up tomorrow and realize what a fantastic achievement it was. I'm super proud of how the NIP guys played. Not that that means anything.
Yeah, and again...
but I love take that to the bank, can you, Rich?
Yeah, but you can tell. I love you guys.
Love you.
love you, Adam.
Much
Jesus.
love. So let's talk about
let's
that.
Play hockey.
I mean, Threat is their coach. And again, most recently, last year, maybe year and a half, we've seen this transition, you know, inherently in most esports, and especially Counter-Strike, usually the 6 guys standing behind the team has been a manager type, not a hardcore coach type, not someone who's involved in strats. It's more of a manager, keep you calm, hey, can I get you anything, everything working, kind of the relay guy between the admins and the tournament organization, cheerleading for you, that's what I used to do, come on, cheer up, come on, keep talking, very basic kind of stuff, right?
To threaten the baseball bat as well, though.
Yeah, and now we've seen, obviously, Threat is a coach, and StarX, on the other side, Na'Vi is ex-player, now coach. And you brought him up, StarX, all year long, in the sense of him being the guy whose job it is to mold that Flamey kid. And he's doing a fantastic job. But just give me your thoughts on, first, the idea of coaches and how it is progressing our game. And then, specifically, let's talk about StarX.
I mean, I think obviously you look on the Na'Vi side and you see how that is the best example of someone who was a former player who's now doing the in-game leading role from coach, not just coaching the team and then keeping them on point, like, oh, remember this, remember that. He's actually the in-game leader as well. And so that's what Threat wants to be. He wants to actually take that role on in NIP and hopefully find success where he can have the fraggers in game and then he's just the mind behind them. I actually think so far, it's only been 2 tournaments, but I think he's shown some good signs there. Like, he's obviously a very intelligent guy. I have to say, watching him play here, he was never outstanding. In fact, he actually plays like a player who knows his limits. He just sprays, he holds obvious angles, he just tries to not give up his life too easily. I actually think he could be a NIP starter, but the problem they have is, who's he replacing? Who was Pit replacing? Well, they were replacing Alu, and that was one of the skill positions. That was actually the AWPer. So as a result, the issue for NIP is you couldn't have someone like Threat actually be the in-game leader and be a player as well, because then suddenly like Freiburg exists. One of these can't keep having problems. One of them can't have a slump anymore. So they've chosen to replace one of the skill positions. That was the big problem, I think, in this tournament. Like, as an actual coach, I think he seems like he's got a lot of potential. He was the obvious shoe-in, actually, a few years ago. Everyone was saying, I mean, if you need a Swedish guy and you want a guy to stand behind, Threat's the obvious choice. But as you've mentioned him, he's been away in Japan. He took himself out of the equation. Unfortunately, it may be the time when a team like NIP could have needed him the most. So I think Starix has proved it works. But you've got to have someone like a Threat or like a Starix. You can't just have a guy who is a former player, especially if they're not an in-game leader, and then hope that they can take over that coaching role. Because at the moment, there's still like a distinction. Who is the actual manager? Who's a real coach who actually does proper coaching or just does like a little bit? Yeah. And then who does the in-game leading? Like, to me, it's the same position technically, but there's a massive spectrum as to what you can do there.
I mean, the coaching has really, it's interesting to how it's evolved over the past year, because at the start, you know, you start allowing these 6 people behind the teams, and then that's when it becomes that more managerial. And then, you know, you start, more orgs have money to pay for an actual coach, so they start doing actual work. They start watching more demos, spending more time with the team. They start getting a bigger responsibility within it. And now we're starting to get events that are, you know, putting computer systems or, you know, maybe a tablet with the coach that they can walk around, that can actually be in game, they can actually spectate things and communicate with the teammates. So as we keep building these tournaments, it gives more opportunities for coaches to be effective. We're going to have people, whether it's the players themselves who just retire or step down from a starting lineup, they're going to start finding ways to use that role more effectively. And that's kind of what we're starting to see here. And Starix is one of the great pioneers so far in CSGO in terms of coaching. Threat, I think, has made NIP look fantastic for the short time he's been there. And there's also guys, you know, like Zeus from Luminosity. I mean, these guys are all great coaches, so we're just going to keep seeing this position develop.
And I know it's a big debate in the sense of, you know, wait, it should be one of the players. It's not really cool. It's not fair. Maybe my org doesn't have enough money. But again, like, this is how we grow our sport, right? This is how it happens.
Yeah, use the tools that you can afford. And Starix is one of the best things that's happened in Na'Vi because, you know, Zeus is a consummate in-game leader, but man, he's a drill sergeant. Anyone who's played among him, you know, Starix is the cool level head. And he was, back when he was a player in Counter-Strike 1.6, people maybe don't remember this, that Na'Vi team had this swagger to their demeanor. Like, they were like, we'll even use dirty tricks to win. They'll do anything that they can. So he's carried that winning mentality here. And he's probably been one of the reasons now, coming back to calling, having a more hands-on role, not having just to focus on flaming, as to why this Na'Vi team is so good right now. So he rightly deserves the plaudits.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. And speaking of Starix, we've got our one Chris Puckett, and he's going to chat with Starix himself, get his feedback on this event. Chris, take it away with Starix.
Thank you. Now, Thorin said that there's 2 superstars on Na'Vi, but I'm standing next to the 3rd superstar. Starix, you've been with Na'Vi since 2009, the very beginning. How strong is this current Na'Vi lineup?
It's very strong, very, very, very strong.
Now, we have a great matchup coming up next. You're on the same half of the bracket as Astralis and Fnatic. We've seen you struggle against Fnatic recently. They seem to be your kryptonite. Who do you want to play in that semifinal?
Well, we prefer to play against Fnatic for sure because we want to beat them.
And do you think this is the tournament to do it?
Yeah, it's definitely. This time we will try to it.
And who is playing the strongest on the team right now, or has it just been a team effort?
It's really teamwork, it's a team game, so we're trying to focus for all 5 players in the game.
And if you are going to be able to beat Astralis or Fnatic, talk to me a little bit about the strategies. Do you go into the match thinking, I need to counter the other team's strategy, or just execute what we've been practicing? I know you're the one who is the shot caller on this squad.
We are trying to focus on our own strategies always, but always I am trying to fix the enemy strategy, so we have to expect something from our enemies, so our enemies should be predictable for us. So.
Well, we'll see how it all plays out. Last question for you. We've been looking out, packed house here in Columbus, Ohio, a lot of American flags, but you and I spotted some Ukrainian flags up there. We got some guys who've flown all the way from Ukraine to watch you here in the States. What does it mean to you to have this support from the Ukrainian fans?
Well, I would like to say thank you for all fans who's cheering us in every country, everywhere. Thank you guys for cheering for us. Thank you.
Give it up for Starix, everybody. Scoots, back to you.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also thank you, StarX. And again, he is right, like right next to us, there is a whole crew of Ukrainians, flags around their necks. Very, very cool stuff right over there. And again, great guy, and he's done amazing work with his time so far.
I mean, technically, we can't know they're Ukrainian. They just have a Ukrainian flag. I know in your country, if you have a flag, you're definitely from that. That's basically how you prove it, right? It's like a whole ceremony or something with the Indian, and I don't remember how. Yeah. So.
I love you,
Day one, boys. Day one.
Day one. Day one.
Deployed,
All right.
of course.
So we're gonna say goodbye very soon, just briefly, to Richard and
Not
Duncan.
because of that.
So we're gonna go ahead and
Dave wasn't on the call, was he?
Yeah, you haven't been fired quite yet, even though you're both asses. Let's go ahead and look at the bracket, kind of bring you guys up to speed as to where we are. As you can see, Na'Vi moves forward, and they get the extreme pleasure of having to play either Astralis or Fnatic in their next match. The next match we are gonna do is obviously that Team Liquid Counter Logic Gaming. Matt, I'm sorry, we're going to do Astralis Fnatic, and then, I'm getting ahead of myself, North America, and then we're going to do that Liquid Counter Logic. I want to get your guys' opinion, because Moses will get you next round, you're sticking around. Your guys' opinion on the next matchup, Fnatic Astralis.
I mean, first of all, I don't really believe what Starrick said there. If they were to beat Fnatic, yeah, he'd love to beat Fnatic. Hasn't happened so far, so he definitely wants to play Astralis here, who they just beat in the Counter Pit final.
Yeah.
In terms of this matchup here, if you're just looking at overall form and you're looking at the track records of how people do in majors, it's obvious Fnatic should win this. Yes, it should be close on paper, even in terms of the map scores, etc., the maps that I shared. It should be Fnatic who win. They always come through. Flasher plays great. Olaf Meiss is the best player. They've got all these strengths. They haven't lost a tournament yet, but I actually think Astralis is going to do it this time. I know that they always choke and they always fail. Device is going to have 11 kills, and I don't bet skins, but if I had bet skins, then I'd rue the day and explain what he should do with his existence from that point on. But I actually think Astralis can do it. I think they've got all... They're the team I actually said when Fnatic and Envious were the two top teams. This is the side with the tools to beat them. This is who could dismantle them. That's why I think in the past, in 2015, there was that summer period where the old Astralis, they were formerly called TSM, they were just dismantling Fnatic every time they played them. And part of the reason was they had the map pool, they had the stars, they had the skill parity, and they had the tactical style. So I think they've got the pieces. It's all about their mindset. And I think today... Well, put it this way, if it's not today, it's never going to happen. So this is the last, I'm giving you one last chance, Astralis. If you break my heart one more time, you won't be sleeping on the couch this time, mate. You'll be out the house. So,
thank you. And
I'm not going to give up on love, Scott.
Never give up on love.
Yeah, I found out with G2. But anyway, so... Really frustrated
too soon, Rich. Too soon.
Yeah, too soon. Really frustrating because we had to obviously do prediction sheets, right, and hand them over. And there's probably going to be
I don't like to have to do it either. I talk and then you pay me. I don't do anything.
I just like to storm out and go home early. You know?
Diva.
Anyway, so basically, like, we had to fill in these forms, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be a bit edgy. I honestly believe that Astralis is going to beat Fnatic. And of course, one of the criticisms I always get from the lovely fans out there is like, you just repeat what Thorin says. So him going first there has absolutely wrecked me, hasn't it? Because when I saw what he picked Astralis as well.
Skrilla, if you pay me, I can ask you first.
But we theorized that there was a way that this could be like this, incredible breakout story for it to be wide open, and that would be for Fnatic to lose in the groups and go through into a very difficult bracket. And it's happened. Team Liquid have done that. And then you think about Astralis, they've beaten Fnatic. They are capable of doing it. They've done it in the past. This is the same lineup. They have all the tools. The only thing that seems to be the issue right now is the mentality. Well, they choke in semi-finals and they choke in finals. So if they can play them in the quarters, you think, that's great. And Fnatic, I don't know. It's like there's almost like a little palpable sense that they're not 100% in here. Okay. They're already publicly talking about Olaf's wrists and things like this, which is a very valid concern.
It's real. It's very real.
But, usually champions don't bring that up until the end of a tournament. For this to be a narrative, I don't know. So I've been backing Astralis. I think they're going to do it, and I think it's going to be a great series.
You've been sandbagged there.
Have I? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Max going to come in hot here.
Better than me waterboarded, of course.
Well, we're definitely going to get your feedback, Moses, in the next section. You're going to stick around. We're going to bring Fifth Lauren and Yanko in to replace you two gentlemen. So when we come back, it is going to be Fnatic taking on Astralis, our second quarterfinal of the day.